What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Dumbfoundead, and welcome to another episode of Fun with the Dumb. We've been on a slew of amazing guests, and not just amazing guests, but amazing women who've been killing it in all different industries, because it's a new era of Fun with Dumb. No toxicity.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm saying we are cleansing ourselves. We are detoxing. Where every other episode.
Yeah. More vagina.
That's what I've been asking for
every episode.
The last three guests have been women?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned that, because we've had Wolf Tyler.
Back to back,
We've had Destiny Rogers. That's about it. but Steffie's been here holding down her raps as well.
Right.
Shout out to Steffie for the 16-bar verse. And today we have a guest who knows bad rap.
Really bad.
Speaking of raps, not calling your rap bad.
Yeah.
But we're here with a filmmaker and somebody I've known for the last 5 years. Actually more than 5 years now. Yeah, more than 5 years. With me, Rick, Rec, and Aquafina, we all met because we were the subjects of her documentary back in 2017 called Bad Rap.
Sick.
And I have the movie poster right here.
Yes. Wow.
Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen.
Look at that.
And Bad Rap was a documentary following around 4 Asian American rappers and wondering why our careers were so whack.
Who am I?
So the documentary came out in 2017, but we were shooting that years before.
Yeah.
And she would just follow us around on our shenanigans, whether it's partying or college shows, mixtapes, your parents' dry cleaners business.
Yeah.
And just kind of seeing what it's like to be an Asian in hip hop. Which was not that lit at the time. Not that lit at the time. And just recently this year, she put out a documentary called Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street, produced by LeBron and his production company, Spring Hill.
Wait, LeBron who?
LeBron Kim. Who do you think? LeBron Kim, the Korean producer.
Yes. LeBron James.
LeBron James,
Fire.
yes.
Fire.
And super important documentary that needed to this untold history to be told, and a very difficult project, by the way.
Yeah.
So without further ado, Salima Koroma.
Whoa! Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Can we curse?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What do you think this is?
Come on.
Let's get the mic closer to her.
Okay.
Of course.
How are you doing, Salima?
Of course.
I'm doing great. It's so good to see you guys. I just moved from New York. I feel like I'm doing stand-up. I just moved from New York to LA.
What's up with I just moved. What is up with Ugg boots out here?
2 Asian rappers walking. Bar, yeah.
Good seeing you.
You know what's crazy? When I did Bad Rap, I was in grad school, right? And I was looking for people. You weren't supposed to be in the film, right?
Wow.
There's a whole backstory on how he got into the film.
Yeah.
And I just thought, at the end of it, everyone loved your portion.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to do a K-pop documentary. That was the first thing. I was super into K-pop. I had my own K-pop website. That's what I wanted to do, but nobody would call me back, right? And I saw Rex Stizzy, who was another Asian rapper. You know Rex Stizzy. I saw Rex Stizzy performing somewhere, and Jay Key, his manager, was behind him, hyping him up. And I was like, who are these dudes? Hit them up. I had hit you up several times. You never responded back. I was like, I am in college and I'm doing a documentary. I'm sure you had gotten that a lot, right? Had you at that point?
Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy thing about that documentary, because when I saw the finished product is when I was like, this is tight, but in the beginning it was really like a faith thing, being like, okay, let's just follow me around, we could do it, you know what I mean? But she was in college,
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you hear about a college project, I get people hitting me up about writing papers and stuff and want an interview and things, and I'm like, so at that point it was just like, okay, cool, like Jay Key came through or somebody just kind of vouched for you, and we're just like, let's just have her around, and we ended up capturing some of like a moment in our history that I'll carry on for the rest of my life.
You say that it wasn't like popping like that at the time. In my mind, watching it, it was like 808s in Heartbreak. In terms of the experimentation.
Right.
Like it was the precursor. Like that was a dope time for me. That was like the most fun I've ever had making a film. I learned all your guys' like deepest, darkest shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Deepest, darkest
real shit.
I
You know, like I felt like I was a therapist.
Yeah.
You know, there were some things like I wanted to diagnose you. I wanted to tell you this is what you need to do.
Yeah, I know.
Can you say it now?
Can I what?
You know what?
No.
Here's the thing. So when we started shooting that documentary, I think because the fact you were a college student working on this project, we were a lot looser,
Right.
Totally.
with the things we shared,
Totally.
and our vulnerability.
100%. That's so true.
And I was like even wild, and I would say wild shit that I would never say in an interview now. You know, I'm in a car like being vulnerable about like being jealous about certain homie successes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like Asian masculinity, but like real rough around the edges.
Right.
I said a line where I like shitted on Daniel Day Kim.
Oh yeah.
And then I had a drink with him like last year, and the whole time I'm talking to him in my head, I'm like, has he seen this documentary?
Right.
Like dead ass.
Ain't nobody trying to fuck Daniel.
I say because you know, I think we're talking about, do people find Asian men sexy or something?
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I don't know, blah blah. And then Salima was like, how about Daniel Day Kim from Lost?
Yeah.
I was like, ain't no one trying to fuck the dude from Lost.
Oh my god.
And then I was completely wrong about that. People do want to fuck him apparently. Lots of people want to fuck him.
Oh my god.
So once you filmed it, you guys didn't have to like take anything out? Like did they have any chance to
No. Well, I'll tell you a couple. Well, one, I had when I was sort of done cutting it, I had Dumb and maybe Rec or maybe Rick come and watch one section of it, and I sort of needed buy-in. At this point, they still weren't sort of into it, and I see Dumb watching it and going, you know, and I'm just watching his face, and he's just like, wow, this could actually be something. Right. And that was sort of when I got a little bit of your buy-in. There was a point when we did, I think it was right before Tribeca. There's a portion of the battle. We had a whole battle scene, and it was very long. Right. It was like a 12-minute battle scene. And nobody wants to. And if you're just going to watch a film, you're not a hip hop fan, you don't want to watch a battle, you know. But they do. Like I had old people coming to me saying, we knew Dumb was gonna win, you know, rooting for you, right? But you called me right before Tribeca, and you said, I think we should take the whole battle out. I think you need to cut it down. I just feel like I'm complaining, and I feel like, and it is an insecurity when you're watching yourself on screen, right? And you're seeing yourself in a way that you've never seen yourself before. So I got a lot of those calls from everybody.
Right, for sure.
I think, it was very long, you know, because the battle 3 rounds, like 12 to 15 minutes or something like that. That's a big part of the film, you know. But there was so many insecurities about myself in that film. You know, I wasn't sure. I was like not sure about what my role in the industry was. You know, there's critics listeling to your music and saying things. You know.
How did you feel about that?
That was strategically,
that was brutal. Because you had 4 like big rap media guys listening to your music, watching your music video, looking at you and seeing if you're marketable, and them kind of being like, nah, like nothing's really sticking out. That really like hurts, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, and you really take them seriously because these are people you respect and you've seen. You know, that all that stuff was tough. But the one thing after I saw the documentary, that's when you said this is something. When I said like this is something, it is because I knew as a film it was good. Like as a documentary, it was a good documentary. You got to have all those moments, you know, the victorious moment at the end, and the family element, and all those things, and it had all that.
I mean, for me, the biggest source of insecurity was just like, am I interesting enough as a character to be even part of this documentary? Do you know what I mean? It's like being the, you know, like, okay, talking about my faith and talking about, you know, my family dynamic. I was like, I feel like every Korean or every, you know, Asian American goes to this, but the way you captured it, it's like, you know, for me too, like, it's hard to make an album. We're more like, let's make an EP or a mixtape because we want our like debut, our first impression of ourselves when people listen to us to be like perfect. But then to give that trust to someone else to capture it, you know, and this is a year this is years. It felt like, you know, Boyhood, that movie where it starts off as like kids and then we're like grown-ass men. It's like that metamorphosis, just that development stage for you to capture that, and not only for you to capture it but also to create a narrative which holds integrity, but also like it's what you're trying to, like the direction you're going for. I think it was perfect.
Let me ask you, Salima, when you were making that documentary, because you said you wanted to start off with K-pop.
Yeah.
First of all, you made the right choice because K-pop really never took off, did it? Not okay.
You know what? Really quickly, BTS had asked to be in Bad Rap, right? When we were at
What?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. I've never heard this. Let's talk about it.
I never told you about that.
Okay, go.
my
So
God.
we
We
make
were
sure the mic is close. You can pull it towards you if you want.
So we were at KCON in LA, which is the K-pop convention, the big one. And BTS was headlining. And at the time, I had a K-pop website called The One Shots, and I wanted to get them on to the One Shots. I'd interviewed you, I had interviewed Danny, you know, wanted to get them on, and they were just like lukewarm about it.
Right.
And then after the show, their person, their manager or something hit me up. They were like, "Yo, you're the one doing Bad Rap?" I go, "Yeah." She's like, "You should have told us they wanted to do that movie. They wanted to do that movie."
Oh, man.
Wow.
And I was just like, why would BTS want to do a
Right.
movie about? I don't even know if it would have made sense,
Right.
right? Like they're not Korean American.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
even know if I would have said yes.
Right.
But yes, they wanted to be.
Yeah, I was at that KCON.
Yeah, you were at that.
Yeah, you know, that was the one I was like
Yeah,
freestyling with RM and stuff.
Right.
Wait, that's interesting. Did you learn a lot about actually Korean American culture while doing this, or because you were into K-pop? It sounds like,
That's
but
a
we're.
good question.
I'm
Great
curious if
question.
you knew about the difference, because like it took me a while to even differentiate that. You know.
Okay, that's a great question. So when I found out when you're making a documentary, shit like unfolds like God is helping. You know, it's like everything unfolds, and what I learned was this dichotomy between Americanness and Koreanness. Same thing that I go through. My family's from Sierra Leone, you know, being Black American and also Sierra Leonean, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I know, I mean, Rex Dizzy had a song called God Bless America at the time, right?
Yeah,
And he was taking God Bless America, you know, America and sort of twisting it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first things he says in the film is, he says, "I'm an American cat. Like, I'm American," right? That's not something I was going for or looking for. It's something that unfolds, right? I don't remember what the question was, but
No,
Yeah.
Like,
Like
if
if you
you-
kind of dived, when you started making his documentary, you started.
Oh, if I
unfolding what it
learned-
If you
means to be
recognize
Korean-American.
that, yeah.
So what I saw was, one, I actually saw, I'll be real with you, I probably saw Korean Americanness and Koreanness as the same thing.
Okay.
Very similar.
Right.
Until there was like, you know, Aquafina would be like, I am not Korean American. I'm not the one appropriating
Right.
such and such. Like, that's at the time BTS, you know, to be honest. Like, at the time, like, if you look at BTS's first things that they came out with, it was very like bulletproof. We are bulletproof. We're
Yeah.
gangsters, right?
Right.
And a lot of that had been trickling over into sort of the blame for that to Korean Americans, right? So that was one thing I sort of noticed that I didn't notice before. And just like the other shit, like, I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't chilling with Korean American. I was chilling with rappers. Like,
Right.
these are rappers
Right.
who like love hip hop and shit. Like, that's what I learned most about. Not
Okay,
like Korean
right.
Americanness, but identity,
Right.
yes, for sure.
I definitely I think those are things that bothered some of us going into the rap game. You don't want to think about the Asianness element as a rapper who's aspiring. You just want to have a chance to do the thing. And you start discovering that it is a huge part of your identity. You know, I talk about this a lot about my journey growing up around young Black kids who were very pro-Black, like in Lamert Park, and very proud
for
of
sure.
it. And that helping kind of understand that my Asianness is a huge part of my identity that I can't escape ever. You know, if I hop on stage, I can be like, I'm just a rapper,
Right.
respect me as a rapper, but motherfuckers are gonna see me.
Did you
for
want
sure
to? Did you
as
want to
a-
hide from that?
I did in the beginning, because it's like, you know, every artist is like, nah, respect me for my art, all this shit. But you don't realize that who you are on those aspects it becomes a huge part of you, no matter what. You can't escape that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to like ask you, because when you said you were into K-pop going in and going into this project specifically, which I found interesting because. And I found kind of in the same lane, right? Because you have these Asian cats going into this, in this hip hop world that's Black culture, and you got a director who's Black who's into Korean culture. So I always felt like that part, just coincidentally maybe, but somehow it connects a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Interesting. I guess sometimes the question that people used to ask me is, why do you like K-pop, right? Actually, I had a love-hate relationship with K-pop because I thought that the music was dope. It was innovative. At the time, I'm just like, whoa, this shit is innovative. Gee, what? You got 13 girls? All that shit, right? But at the same time, when they portrayed themselves coming to America, it was like white girls, and it was Black. I'm telling you, it was Black girls who were really propping up K-pop in America at that time, right?
Yeah.
And they were putting in all this money, and then you would watch Jay Park. No, I wouldn't say Jay Park. Actually, Jay Park had had one of the first Black girls in his music videos, but it was just like it didn't feel good. It stopped really feeling good. But I used to write about it. And that shit felt good. I wrote for this place called Soul Beats. I wrote for Hip Hop DX. So I was writing about all this stuff everywhere and thinking about it in a way that I don't think people were thinking about it at that time. Right? People weren't thinking about Asian rappers. I don't think, Dumb. I don't know.
No,
only in K-Town, maybe. In K-Town, it was.
That's why Bad Rap was very early in that aspect, capturing that, because now it's so common. You know what I mean?
Is it?
I mean, I'm saying
there's like so many Korean rappers. I mean, I just came in last year into this like culture, and there are so many.
No, I'm not talking about Korean rappers in Korea. I'm talking about like Asian American rappers. There's tons, yeah. Oh yeah.
But they all hang out in K-Town. Y'all know all of them.
But who's the best?
I want to ask her that.
I just think
she has her opinions.
I do have my opinions.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you what my overall opinion is, and this is for like all. I'm not like the fucking guru of art, but all art. You guys know this. Like when you did your freestyle the other day. What I liked about it, and I said it was normcore. What I liked about it was weird, but it was still weird. It was weirdly on beat, and he helped you with the beat. Like he killed that, right? Like it felt good. It was something different, right? And it almost felt like when we did Bad Rap and we had people listen to Aquafina, right? Yeah. And they felt like, oh, that shit is different. I hear music all the time. I hear this shit all the time. Yeah. When I heard you, I was like, whoa, that shit is kind of interesting. It's interesting. I didn't say it was great. It's interesting.
It's interesting,
right?
Yeah.
It's interesting, and like there's something there's something there, right? So like that's what, and I think when you're talking about those executives that we had listen to your music, I called you after that.
You chose the wrong joint to play them.
I didn't. I was upset because at this point I think you still didn't really know that what Bad Rap was doing, right?
True.
So when I called everybody, they said play them. I called Rick, I called Aquafina and Rec, and they said play these two songs. They were very meticulous about it. With you were just like, just play this and that, my new shit, and then this shit.
I think I should have played Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan would have been the one.
Period. Because it's just like I'm wilding out at
right.
What I played clear, it was super safe.
Super safe.
Yeah, it was not as.
But it was great production. It was good.
Yeah,
right?
but it was very. It's actually it's one of my most high quality videos, but it's actually the most boring video. Like out of all the videos that I have, like it's clean and everything's good,
right.
But. I think what people, specifically with hip hop, it's like you have to be the most unique person in the room. You know what I mean? Like think about like the origins of hip hop. In South Bronx, like fools had fur coats and shit,
right.
with leather pants, on stage. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Yesterday I was listening to Stillmatic, right? And I was thinking, I love this album. I don't know if I would have listened to it if it came out now, because it doesn't have no fucking beeps and boops and all this other shit, right? So I was thinking, would we have listened to Stillmatic? Would we have listened to Illmatic? Right?
Yeah, hip hop has gone through so much of the changes, because in the beginning it was so much more eclectic, and when we got to Nas, it was like more toned down and more like
for sure
street,
like sustenance based. You know?
Yeah. So I don't know, it's gone through waves of stuff.
I mean, people love the beeps and boops now. You know what I mean? They want that boops and beeps.
I mean, Bad Rap to me, I think, right now, if you guys are just tuning, we're talking about Bad Rap, a documentary that me, Rick, Aquafina, and Rex Stizzy were the subjects of, and just a time capsule during our time coming up. It was so great. It was crazy. So great. So many vulnerable moments.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know who became most successful out of those four.
Did you recognize that?
That's such a great question. Did I recognize?
Do you remember that transformation that Nora went through in that movie?
I'm actually curious.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about that.
I'm curious about how you felt when you were there, and did you see that? Like, could you foresee that?
What did you foresee as far as the futures of the four subjects?
Who was the hardest to interview also? Those are the two.
So what did I foresee? So I was behind the camera. I didn't say shit. A lot of times I didn't say anything. I mean, I had shit running through my head. And I did not say anything.
We knew she had shit running through her head.
Of course.
But she wouldn't say it. She would just point.
She's also you're also young.
Yeah.
Very young, and it's your first doc.
It was my first doc.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've said problematic shit in that doc. 100%.
Were you like, I want to kill him?
No, but it wasn't. But for me, but when it wasn't that like you said problematic shit. It was your insecurity, right? It was your insecurity, and that's what showed. That's what showed.
It oozed so
much.
Yeah. Oh,
because she was like, because I was talking about how, because Aquafina was just in the beginning stages of her career and was already taking like crazy strides.
Yeah.
And then, I think she asked me about, is it easier for like Asian women to make it in the industry or something? And I was like, yeah, of course, Bob. He's like, where do you see them? And I was like, look at porn.
Oh, Lord.
Like, I look back on that, I'm like, this shit, I would have gotten in so much trouble. But it was just like there were things that you couldn't see the insecurity in me,
right?
Yeah.
But rightfully so, though, because again, I'm watching this. You'd been in the game for longer than a lot of people, right? People knew you. People like when I talk about Asian rappers, I say, oh, that guy from LA, right?
Yeah.
It was always dumb. And so you were this mythology. You were this sort of urban legend kind of thing for a lot of people, and then to see you be human and be sort of like not the god that people thought that you were, that was a big part of your story, and that was important, right? And for you to even question why haven't you made it, right? I think that was very important. Now, you asked a question, did I foresee anything? When I interviewed Aquafina, she was insecure because people around her told her to be. I'm talking about people she was dating, people she was talking to, people who were her friends, people who were around her who were supposed to love her, sort of not questioning, but saying straight to her, this is a gimmick, right? Or enjoy this.
Wow.
And that's like, I think is, this is coming from creatives. Right. And then so seeing that, even you're questioning it, right? But I think it's very clear the insecurity of why you are questioning it. And by the way, something that I'm experiencing as a Black woman who has before never been able to tell her story. Now motherfuckers are like, what stories you got? What you got? What you got to tell? Right? We're trying to hear your shit, right?
True.
Aquafina is also that. Like, she's an Asian woman who has a story to tell. That motherfuckers are finally like, okay, let's tell Asian women's story.
I think there's something that a lot of women deal with in male fragility, that we project,
fucking male fragility
that we project on women, and that was a clear example of that scene where I was projecting that. You know what I mean? My insecurities, and then blaming the industry.
I think also the beauty of it is the power of editing and like cutting and all these things, like the porn, a lot of the things that we're talking about that was problematic, the way that you edited it became like highlights of the movie. Like little comic relief, little like just like parts that's like kind of funny. People just laugh along with it.
Yeah. When you said porn, people laughed.
Yeah, people loved it.
People when you said Daniel Day Kim, no one liked people. That was the first big laugh of the film, right? But it's not like people just watched it and laughed and then walked home. Like they laughed and they thought about it.
They thought about it.
Exactly. I mean, to be honest, I was like, a lot of times, even in moments like that, I kind of lean into it like performance style. But I was definitely like very vulnerable in that documentary. I was a lot more loose because I did not think this was gonna be in the fucking Tribeca film.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I was like, oh, this might be in some KSA Korean Student Association shit. So I was not expecting that. So I think everyone felt that way. And when I saw it, I did think it was special, even though there was moments that didn't make me look good.
Yeah,
I still thought the film was special.
I mean, there's a segment in that movie where like my mom just talked shit about me for like 10 minutes
People
straight.
love that.
That was great.
And it was just like, you know, I didn't realize how big that part's gonna get, you know?
Did people question you? I'm sorry to cut
No,
you off.
please.
I actually want to know more about you as a documentarian. Is it something that you've always wanted to do, or you knew as a kid? Were you always like interested in people's lives? And
I think there's a couple of things. I talked to my therapist about this too, but like one, I loved editing. You know what I used to do? I used to take a Windows Movie Maker. I used to love Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah.
I used to rip from Kazaa or LimeWire. I used to rip music and just clips and just put them together to music, right? I used to edit all that shit. I love that. I took broadcast in middle school. This is what I love to do. And then also, you know, I lived a family life where I had to be aware of shit. I had to be aware of when people's moods were a certain way. So I know, I feel like I've learned how to talk to people. Because of that.
And
was that your
bring
role?
out moments from them, right?
But also like everybody wants love.
Yeah.
And everybody wants people to listen to them.
Yeah, be understood.
To be understood.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
And they want someone to listen to them. I don't think I ever told you guys shit about me. Right? You guys don't know. You guys don't really know anything about me. But I know a lot about you because I'm listening, and that's my job. And I'm interested. I'm interested in psycho and analyzing why is it that Dumb did this really stupid thing, right? And how does it relate to
Girl,
the theme?
I get you. I'm right there with you.
How does it relate to the theme of this film, right? Is it self-sabotage?
Right.
You know, the fact that he's at home and he should be writing music, but he's like fucking thinking about, you know, some pussy or whatever it is. Like, why is it that way?
Oh my God, I can talk to you for hours about this.
You understand me.
Now I need to go get coffee with you. And
So that's very interesting to me. Him too.
Yeah.
Very interesting to me because I always felt like Rick is very perceptive. He's actually
he's introspective for sure.
He's probably I would say he's the hardest one to, I don't say interview. We actually interviewed you twice because the first time I forgot to turn the mic on. Right, so it was like a 2-hour interview. We had to interview you twice. But you are, because I'm never sure if he's. I'm never sure.
Putting on a performance.
I can't be sure if he's putting on a performance.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know what you mean exactly.
I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And you're too aware. You're somebody I couldn't do LSD. I couldn't drop acid with because you're too aware. And that shit, I would be thinking you're reading my mind. I don't like that.
We've talked about this with Rick. I think because of him super immersed in this Korean hierarchy element of like, you treat your elders with respect and talk to them this way. Like he really implements that to the rest of society and his friends and everything. And as a performer too, like we all put on a performance, we lean into it extra hard. Like when we come on this podcast, we start going into a thing. We are like, we lean into it. You know what I mean? But yeah, to be fully vulnerable in something like that is hard. But then you started seeing that when you interviewed like his mom and stuff.
Yes. And that is the one, like I said, everyone relates to is you and your mom. Because it spans cultures, right? It spans everything. You want to be something and your parents don't want you to be that. They want you to be something else, right? And I went to Virginia one weekend. This was Danny Chung was supposed to be our fourth character. Decipher. I'd actually gone to Philly to spend a weekend with him, interviewed him. And the reason why we actually didn't use Danny, I've told you guys this, is because his story was so engaging and it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy, but it had already happened. It was the past. Yeah. And
it'd be too much it'd take too much of the center almost.
I don't know. I've thought about this. I don't know. I think it just made, and you guys were always together. I don't know. You guys were always together.
Right.
Was Danny was around too.
Oh yeah, Danny.
Right?
Yeah, Danny was around, but Danny has a crazy story with his family and stuff.
Yes.
And
it could be its own film.
it could, yeah, it's his own thing. I feel like you covered just enough because all the stuff that us four were going through, it's stuff that all of us go through. When you cover like Rick's dry cleaning part, we go through that too, but you highlighted it through Rick. You know what I mean?
Right.
The creative part, you highlighted it through Rec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You highlighted like my
The woman's
part,
struggle with
the woman's
the-
struggle,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
my part of like being a vet and feeling washed up and all those things. You covered a lot of those elements.
Yeah.
And Danny, like Danny's
in the chat.
Just
Danny's in the
He
chat
said,
right
"I
now.
love
Yeah.
Salima."
the thing with Danny is like Danny I feel like he's just started unpacking a lot of
Really?
past trauma. Like during that time,
During
I
that
don't even think we knew anything
Oh.
about
Yeah,
Danny. Like
yeah.
we didn't know anything about
mean,
Danny.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I think a lot of you guys are also starting to understand the importance of mental health.
Yeah.
And he's starting to go to therapy as well.
Right.
So
I just heard about mental health like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, what is like
Right.
mental health? The fuck, health is health, right? What do you mean mental health?
Right.
So yeah, it was something.
Danny
different.
should write a book or write a film about his life.
Yeah, Danny is
sure.
he's a mysterious man.
Yeah.
He's a very mysterious, man.
Glorious.
I wanna just kind of move on to what you're working on.
Wait. Before we finish that, I want to say one more thing.
Sure, go ahead.
Bad Rap was the most fun I've ever had making a film.
Aw, I
It
love
was like I miss it. I
that.
don't,
That's what's up.
I miss if I could have half as much fun making that film, like I'd be happy. And just like being able to be friends with you guys
Right.
at the end of it. A lot of people in my class made films about like prisoners who were in isolation and like the Gowanus Bay, and like I got to chill with you guys. Bad rappers.
Damn.
I really do think in the end of the film, just looking at what that film was, it's such an interesting look into something like a subcultural thing. Like
I am curious, like, was there a point while you were editing or at the beginning where you were like, fuck, why did I make this decision to like interview them? Like, was there a time where you're like, fuck, should I pull out right now?
100%. And it was when Jay Key came on, right?
Oh,
Jay Key was a producer on this project,
Yes.
and he kind of helped glue the pieces of us
Wait,
both together.
okay.
And the reason why is one, I'm being held accountable to somebody who has his own ideas as well, right? It was Jay Key's idea to do the have the executives watch you guys' stuff. But before that, he was like, yo, we should do a game show. And I was like, whoa, right? Maybe I'm not cut out for this. And I think making any document, well, for me anyway, and I feel like this is going to be the case till the day I die, every documentary I've made, I felt like, fuck, why am I doing this? I got to stop. I got to quit. This is not for me. I'm not good at it. Like, I'm not good. I cannot top the thing that I just did, right? It's a constant sense of, not constant, but a lot of times you'll have this imposter syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Even if
True,
LeBron James is like, yo, I like your idea, you still
Yeah.
have the imposter syndrome. You're
For
like,
sure.
oh shit.
And
you
I
know?
relate to that. I think all creatives relate to that, right? A lot of us have imposter syndrome, especially when you're doing something really good. You start getting really insecure about it. You're like, wait, how the fuck am I gonna do this again? Or
Right.
even better?
Right.
That's
No, for
scary.
sure.
Documentaries are tough because like you keep adding pieces to it, and you need that like aha moment about what this documentary
It's about.
is,
Yeah.
or about, and it gets frustrating when you don't find it.
Exactly.
You want to give up towards the end, and then finally you might have that piece
Yeah.
that brings it all together. And I felt like Bad Rap did such a good job of that.
Incredible job.
And then also one last thing, is that you hold people's lives in your hand, right?
True.
Like I'm putting your shit out there.
True, true.
Like I'm taking your life and it's my responsibility. If I fuck that up, like I'm done out here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like their careers.
Yeah,
For
sure.
You know, before we move on to your next documentary, one thing I believe I like kind of like briefly said this to you when we were face to face in New York, but I wanted to really just thank you so much because before Bad Rap, I had like a whole other side of fans that knew me from my Christian music, from my church days, you know, and for a long time when I shifted gears and started making more worldly music and, you know, kind of left the church route behind, a lot of people they had disdain for me because of that. There was bitterness. There was, you know, there's this thing, like if you go to a church and then like, let's say your praise leader, like he does something that's kind of off the cuff, instead of being disappointed in that praise leader, like people tend to hate him. There's like this hatred that happens because, you know, you lead them to such a sacred place and then they let you down so much that there's this like innate seed of bitterness towards this person. And I had a lot of people that had that for me. But through Bad Rap, through your narration, instead of me going out and trying to explain it or apologize to everyone as a whole, the way that you captured it and showing the duality of me trying to be a good person, but also the weakness I have because I'm a human. The way that you captured that, like you were talking about Gift, like one of my biggest viral, you know, hits back in the day in my Christian sense. And then right after that, with no transition, it's just me rolling a fat ass J. It's like
him holding the Bible and then using it as a surface to roll the joint.
I'm literally holding a Bible, and then you cut the scene, and then you're like, but it's hard to live it. And it's just me with a fat ass J, and I'm just smoking with everybody.
That was the hardest scene to make. Man.
It was crazy because when I saw, you know, I saw my parents too. Yeah. And you know, that's like that one, you know, like that, you know, that nude scene's coming, so you're like bracing for it. My mom and dad started crying, and they were like, Rick, like, this is such a powerful part of the video because we knew, they knew, you know. But you being this honest, and what I wanted to share with you, they were like, Rick, this is what ministry's about. This is what true ministry is letting people know that you know, it's a struggle. Not everybody's perfect. And she's like, I love Salima for this. I love Salima. God. So I just wanted to let you know, like, it was kind of like, you know, like a Windex bottle, like instead of a jet stream, like, it was like a spray, and you allowed that message in a spray way.
I sprayed it.
Thank you so much. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like instead of me trying to like aim it and try to explain it, like you sprayed it for me. And because of that video or because of that movie, a lot of people, a lot of my old fans, a lot of my old pastor friends hit me up, was like, Rick, man, like, it's very bold and very courageous for you to do that. And I was like, dude,
you didn't tell me that.
I was like, that's awesome.
It's a lot of, you know, just looking at the time capsule, it just really shows you how much that journey is the reward.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've thought about so much about where I should be, and I'm like, nah, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, you know. And with careers, you can't think about like why you're not at this point or whatnot. There's so many circumstances, and it's not like whatever idea you fantasize about being at, it's not that can never just you can't work towards that, really. It's just like it's an element of everything.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I always think about this. You and I don't talk too often, but I watch what you do, right? And I always wonder to myself, because when we were filming, you also were at like UCB, like you were doing improv and you know, doing some acting. I know you wanted to, you know, do some things. I watch you and I see the things that you do, and I wonder, are you happy? Right? Are you happy with what you're doing? And it's not a lot of it is rap, right? I don't know what your dream was, but are you happy with what you're doing?
I'm happy, but I still have moments of unhappiness, I guess, because I tend to compare myself to a lot of people. I think it's because some of my closest friends are in the pinnacle of the industry.
Thank you,
it's not just the Rick is the #1 praise leader in America. No, but it's just it is rough being around sometimes like some of the top people in those fields, and you've worked with them in a level where you came up together, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you came up together, why am I not up there with them?
Yeah.
You know, and so that part, it gets in my head a little bit, and it shouldn't, because my friends are very supportive of me. You know what I mean? I'm talking, you know, obviously, you know, my friends and stuff, but they're literally the peak, you know, and that part, I think, it just makes me question myself more.
Yeah.
You know, like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And it's not that. I'm very grateful. That's what I'm doing. I'm practicing gratitude more than anything.
Oh.
I got to be grateful for like everything that I'm doing and I'm at.
Right.
But I think the problem is when you're young and you want to accomplish something in entertainment, you look at the pinnacle of things.
Yeah.
You don't think like, I'm gonna be the sickest independent artist there ever was.
Right.
You're thinking like, I'm gonna be a household name on every television screen, every billboard, bus stop.
For sure.
You know, and I think those were the things I was striving for, which is, I think, something that every artist should change now. And I think I learned a lot of that.
Damn.
And I think now people can do that more, because you look at YouTube and different platforms on how you accomplish like what you want to do or share. Yeah. But I could still see kids stuck on numbers, obviously.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me, you guys, I maybe this happens to all of us, because after Bad Rap, I'm looking at you, you in jail having these viral moments.
Yeah.
You were killing, I felt. You know, Aquafina was killing. I had a friend who did Candyman. She directed Candyman.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, what am I doing? Right? What am I doing? I was depressed. I was I talked to you, I wrote a script about these girls who were going to a K-pop show. You know, we were supposed to work, and it didn't happen. Right. You know. And then you were doing other shit. I saw you were doing shows. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are all my friends doing so much and I'm not doing shit?
You felt that?
Right?
You felt that after that? Wow.
Yes, are you kidding me?
I didn't know that.
Even with you, like I had
that was pre-year the Ox. Like
that was that was that year.
Wow.
That was very difficult for me. Are you kidding me?
I did not.
Yeah, and then sometimes guys would come to New York and be like, "You think we want to come out?" Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was very difficult. But I say that to say, like, I imagine, and what I'm learning is that as a creative, we go through this shit.
Yeah.
We go through it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's never gonna be enough. You got to really try to get your happiness away from your career. Your career is not you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I gotta get to that point where I'm completely happy, because I don't think it's ever gonna be enough. You know what I mean? I could reach the status that I think in my head is gonna bring me happiness. I don't think that's gonna be enough.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Damn.
Therapy. With all that said, therapy is what I need.
Wow. I love how this conversation went. That's a beautiful thing, man. I really didn't know you felt that way, Salima. That was so how long has it been? So it's 2017 Bad Rap came out. And now can we talk about this?
Okay, let me
Can we talk about this?
Just because since 2017, like, that was your first ever film project, right? What happens when everything dies down? You get the film festival. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
How do you restart the process, and what's your next thing?
So after I was done with Bad Rap, I had hella ideas, right? I didn't have no management, no agents, anything. And then I got management. Just some guys who were like, yo, and they were great. And they were my only lifeline for the 3 years after that. Like, they were the ones getting me into doors. Otherwise, I would have just been like, depressed. I would have been. I was getting, for the first time, rejected from certain things. I was getting rejected from, like, I didn't want to do documentary anymore. I wanted to take some time off, because Bad Rap I worked on for like 4 or 5 years. I was tired. I was tired.
Holy shit.
I did not want to do a doc for a long time. So I started writing scripts and sending them in, and for the first time I was getting rejected from shit. And I'm just like, what am I gonna do? Right? And because I had management who I thought were going to drop me, but they just kept saying, hey, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. One of the first films that I pitched after Bad Rap was Black Wall Street. And when I pitched it, it got like lukewarm. Nobody was really fucking with it. They didn't get it. They sort of wanted me to change the idea. They didn't believe that it happened.
This is scripted.
No, this was not scripted. This was doc. This is doc. Am I going to, like, these are big name broadcasters that should have put this shit on, who have now put this shit on, right? And so, like, I just thought, okay, I'm young, I'm I don't know, nobody wants to see this story, so I just didn't do it for like a long while. And then it wasn't George Floyd, it was, I think a few years later, they found bodies in Tulsa, or they found graves, and I was like, yo, that's that story that I wanted to do. I'm gonna do this shit. I did the deck. I sent it to my managers. I was like, send it out. Just send it out. And I think like 2 days later, Spring Hill came back and they were like, this is dope.
That's sick.
However, they just say they were just like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Great. It's cool.
True.
I know the process.
Right?
You can't get excited.
And I'm like, all right, cool. They like it.
Yeah.
And then the thing about it is I had done hella work. I had produced the shit. I'd gotten all the videos and I'd talked to mad people. And then the pandemic hit. And then they lost, I think Spring Hill lost a lot of their shows.
Right.
And here I was with this fucking doc that had everything. And they were like, give us that doc and let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
So it was because of pandemic, really, that they were on it for me. They were ready for me to just do this.
Very cool.
That's by the way, Spring Hill Productions is LeBron James's production company. And I mean the story is long overdue. So it's called Dreamland: the Burning of Black Wall Street. Explain to us what Black Wall Street was.
Okay, so Black Wall Street was a place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was like it was called Greenwood. And it was a town. It was like this utopia, this black utopia. Like when you think about it, like basically what had interested me was it's this place in the 1920s, right? Yeah. And like when I think of 1920s, it's like the Roaring 20s. It's booming. Great Gatsby, Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, chilling. He
was there too. Yeah.
And it's just beautiful, you know. But like we talk about the Great Gatsby, but we don't talk about the Black Gatsby, and that existed, and that's beautiful too. Like I want to see us going to balls and us, you know, driving nice cars with nice suits and having businesses that were beautiful, from candy shops to hotels to automobile repair, all that shit. To see that, it's almost like, and I said this before, it's almost like when I watched Black Panther and saw Wakanda. Right? And that's just, I really feel like it's some juvenile stupid shit to say, but it was like, whoa, we got that vibranium.
Right.
We got that vibranium. And
that's what Greenwood
felt like. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when people talk about Tulsa, they talk about the fact, or Greenwood, they talk about the fact that it was burnt down to the ground by, you know, a neighboring white community that were less wealthy and jealous, and came into that community and burned it down. People talk about that part. I want to talk about that part because that's important. I need Black people and white people to understand that, Americans to understand what happened, but also for Black people to see that beauty and be like, yo, we got that vibranium. Like that's what I want people to feel.
I think it's such an important part of history to be told because things like that, neighborhoods like that, it becomes the beginning of something, you know, that expands across the countries and you know, and it's like
before it gets
when you
snuffed
stop
out.
it in the beginning stages of it, it just makes a huge impact for generations, right?
Like generational wealth, that's real.
Yeah.
Right? Greenwood was not the only Black town that was snuffed out. There was many Black towns that were obliterated to the ground. And we're talking about like, Tulsa was the oil capital of the world. Not America, the world, right? You had there some of the richest people in the world, not America, in the world, in Tulsa.
Holy shit.
Black people were eating off that in Tulsa. And then they lost all that. So I'm saying like, people who are making millions of dollars that they can no longer pass down to their children, that means a lot. That means a lot.
That's fucking
right? No houses. These people had multiple houses that you could, you know, pass down to your children and your children's children. That doesn't exist anymore.
So when we say burn down, like Greenwood, it's a neighborhood. This is arson. Like this is assault. Like this is everything.
This is everything.
It's an attack on a
Yeah. And so for those who haven't watched the film, it is though the 1919 is when, you guys ever heard of the Red Summer? It was when the Red Summer happened, and the Red Summer was in the South. Pretty much a lot of lynchings, a lot of you know, white people just, you know, doing some fucked up shit. And around this time. Fuck, I just lost my train of thought. I need to stop.
1919.
Red Summer, white people.
I was talking about it was just an attack on Greenwood, like.
Oh, right. Okay, so the way that it happened, the way that it started, is, so there was this young boy named Dick Rowland. He was a Black boy. He was a shoe shiner, and at that time he couldn't use the restroom in the shoe shiner, so in the shoe shine shop. So he had to go across the street to a sort of like a retail store. Get on the elevator and go upstairs, use the bathroom. This whole rigmarole, this whole thing to use the bathroom. And on the elevator is this young white girl who is the elevator operator. You have to like do this sort of thing to get it up.
Right.
And she has to line it up correctly to the door. And I guess it's not, and he trips. Yeah. And he grabs her. I don't know if, you know, she felt scared and she screams. And it was Memorial Day, so it was was kind of, nobody was around, but there was one store clerk who heard her scream.
Right.
And he runs out. And from there, the newspaper writes, you know, Negro tries to, you know, rape girl.
Oh,
kind
it's on
of
the
thing.
Emmett Till shit.
It was on that
Right,
Emmett Till
right,
shit.
right.
Oh my god.
And then from there, white people across the you know, the tracks who had already were feeling a type of way use this as an excuse. They go to the courthouse, they try to get him out, try to lynch him. Black people come down there. These are veterans, right? This is the first time that, you know, you have black veterans who know how to fight, know how to use guns. They're like, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna have to come and fight us.
Yeah.
So they go down there, and that's sort of when the clash begins. But there's like 2,000 white people.
Wow.
You know, thousands of white people, and then there's 75 black men.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That's the Red Summer.
That's after the Red Summer, but it's like a few years. Yeah.
Wow.
Man, and how many days does this take course?
So this it starts. It's a day and a half, and it's sort
A day and a half.
of a day and a half.
They burned the whole shit down.
Yes. They
It's a
came in, they
massacre.
looted, and I think one of the most effed up parts, they looted these people's things, and then they put them in internment. They put the black people in internment camps, right, for up to a year. And these people were not allowed out of the internment camps unless they're like, you know, white domestic, you know, their boss came and said, hey, come out. And they would sometimes see people wearing their shit. They would walk out, they'd walk out, see a brooch, and see, that's my grandmother's brooch that this white lady is wearing, or my grandmother's coat that this woman is wearing. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Did we learn about this in like in school? Because like I mean, first of all, I don't remember a lot of school, but like I don't even know if I really remember.
They definitely
hearing
didn't
much.
teach this.
They definitely skimmed through this
I mean,
shit.
since last year, I realized there's so much about cultures that I just don't know other
Right.
than
You want to
from
know?
a white perspective.
You want to know what's even more interesting to me?
Yeah.
Part of how those black people got to Greenwood was because they came on the Trail of Tears, and they came on the Trail of Tears as slaves, as Cherokee Choctaw slaves, right? Meaning that they were owned by Native Americans in the 5 civilized tribes. That's what they call these 5 tribes. And I love, you know, when I was a kid, I remember a lot of black kids used to say, oh yeah, I'm half Cherokee. I'm half this." And it's like, what do you really know about history and about that time? It's very complicated. A lot of people come to me and say, oh, we didn't know some Native Americans owned slaves. Yeah, you don't know history. I didn't know that shit either, right? So
Interesting.
That's fucking crazy.
I've seen so many really good documentaries since last year, and it's piqued my interest. I don't know if I cared that much about American history until I realized how rich in culture it is.
Right.
I've been watching so many, like even about Asian Americans. Did you watch Asian Americans? Like it's on
the
PBS.
PBS one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
I didn't know the first people, like Asians, to come here were
Filipinos.
Filipinos.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that to me was.
I didn't know that either. That
They're
was
the
wild.
first. They were the first in Bad Rap too to like do DJing.
I mean,
all
they're
that
the
shit.
originals.
I remember.
Fine, yeah.
Of course, man.
And so
Filipinos are the best. All right.
I wanted to ask you because just going back to the documentary, you know, doing a documentary on this topic is very difficult because there's so much history that was burnt down literally during the event, and for generations just wasn't passed down. So how do you approach something like this where you find descendants, right? And they're coming at you telling you stories maybe that they've just heard.
Yeah. And sometimes you told stories that you're not sure are true or not.
Yeah.
But again, that doesn't matter. Just the same way that like you saying what you said, it doesn't matter what you said. It matters where it came from and why you said it, right? So it doesn't matter. You know, this is a story that's not been in history books, so a lot of the history comes from word of mouth, right? So some of it you don't know what's urban legend and what's not, right? But it doesn't matter, right? It's them being able to tell the story. Like for example, one of the things that people say is that planes came down and shot bullets on them, right? Like this is what every survivor has said. History will tell you that didn't happen, right? I don't know if we don't know if it happened or not, but that this is what they experience is fucking planes, you know, coming down on them, right? You can't tell them any different, and you can't tell their descendants any different either. So telling the story was hard because I wasn't sure. I had to do a lot of research, right? And then 2, everything was gone. A lot of stuff is gone. So I had to reimagine it. So I took that thing, the idea that I had no video, very little video and photos. And I was like, I get to imagine this place. I get to create this place myself with the help of the stories that I've been told. And I get to take animation, which I've never done before in my life, and like make it look pretty. and make it look
So
beautiful.
sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, when I think about history now, I think about it as it's storytelling. All of it, like none of it is real. It's always from a perspective. It doesn't matter what
Yep.
that
Someone
thing
else's
was.
account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone
Right.
else's account. Even if we all saw this thing happen where I, flip this cup, it could have. All of us can tell that story very differently.
For
So
sure.
all of history is this way,
Absolutely.
and it's crazy to me. So in the essence, your documentary is really your perspective of your story.
Absolutely.
Fucking fire.
100%.
I love that.
And I think just the fact that this is a good example of like what the country has been built on. This event and many events, and God knows what other events have not been uncovered, and stories have been. There's so many stories that have been untold. So I'm kind of excited to see more of that.
How do you feel about like I don't know how much time we have, about sort of the tokenism, right? Of, hey, you're Asian or you're Black, we want you to tell this story, or hey, we want you because you are this, right? I don't know if you've experienced that.
I mean, yeah, but me personally, a lot of the stuff I pitch, I think a lot of Asian storytellers right now want to tell those stories because there haven't been enough. It's like white people, right? White directors. What's the Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers are talking about dragons and wizards and all this shit
Right.
because they've got to tell all their stories.
Right.
Black filmmakers, Asian filmmakers. We're talking about immigration stories. Slave stories. Like we have to get through those things,
Totally.
and then
To
I
get
can
to the
get to
creative.
the wizards.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it too.
I agree.
I think the Black community. I see it on Twitter.
We're tired of it too.
It's gotten tired of all the the past
poverty porn, the trauma.
poverty porn,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
But that's a choice that we're making also, because I think of things like anime. Anime's not. That's like all very creative.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
like
also
part of our
very
culture.
Asian, like over there.
Over
I'm
there.
talking about like
Asian
African American.
We're still stuck in the nonfiction section right now.
Because we talk about a lot of the struggles that's going on
Right.
with us
Are we
here.
trying to prove a point or something? Do you think at some point? Are we just like?
Nah, it's not to prove a point. It's just there's a lot of history that's been untold that we want to, cover. But there's gonna be a point where people are gonna get tired of it. I think it's getting to that point.
Yeah.
With a lot of Black people in America,
Right.
Tired of it.
they've gone tired of it
For sure.
Asians were like kind of just beginning to get our stories out there.
Yeah.
Like whether it's Minari and all
Yeah.
that stuff, but that's why you got some next level shit happening in different countries.
Right.
Like if you see Parasite and shit, like that's some next level shit.
For sure.
I'm sure there's Black filmmakers outside of America that's doing some crazy shit.
True. True.
But over here, like there are the specific African American, Asian American stories that we got to get out the way before we can get into some wild shit.
I hear that.
Yo, that shit, it's fucking pissing me off. The fact that they'll burn a spot down, destroy the history, the generational wealth, and also it's like, you know how they say history is written by the victors, right? Or the history is written by the ones that like lasted. Like there's people that I still did not know about this shit. Like,
Well, I
they
think that's
literally erased truth away from history.
I think the frustrating part is there's this feeling that Black people cannot make it financially in America or business wise, but like no, we can.
Right.
Like so, there's that, and then also white people or whoever. It's not just slavery, right? It's not just slavery thing. It's not just a civil rights thing, right?
Yeah.
There's so much more, and I need y'all to see that and understand that, right? In terms of like telling the same stories, this was not the only. Dreamland was not the only film about Black Wall Street. There was like Russell Westbrook made one, Nat Geo made one, PBS. There was a ton. Oprah made one, right? And like at first I was kind of like, fuck, man, I got to compete with all these people. But like, bro, how many stories about whatever thing have they told about white history over and over again? Have we seen, right?
100%.
Like so many times. Like I'm down. Part of me is like, yo, I don't want to see this like trauma. Part of me is like, yo, let's get it out the way and like let's tell every side of it from mad different directors and like let's tell the story as many times. Right, like they do.
Crazy.
I mean,
That's
and
true.
people, I feel like always need a reminder that this is what America is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we always forget up and down.
But I wish there was a balance too. That there was other shit. I mean, there will
100%.
be. I think we're getting there.
Give me an example of like what was going on in Black Wall Street and Greenwood, as far as the wealth that was being generated. I mean, was there such a prominent Black American there that like this was like, you know, something happened and it shit got outrageous? Like he had power to be like.
Great question. One, it was like there was this whole thing where there were the slaves of the Native Americans. After the Civil War, they were given land, like not the freed black slaves of America, but the freed black slaves of the Native Americans were given 160 acres each, right? Wow. So now you have land. Land is power. Period. Get your property up. Land is power, and these people had 160 acres. That's man, woman, child, everybody, right? And then they found oil there, right? So sorry, where was I going? What was the question?
So we're saying like
the level of like
prominent.
Okay,
so in Oklahoma, you had a bunch of just like sort of rich black people, and then you had one guy named O.W. Gurley who just bought up a ton of land and started selling that land only to black people. Right? So he's like, yo, let's make it poppin', right? That's something I don't know what I take from that, but I take something from that, right? And you see this picture with him and some other black men who I like to call the blue chip blacks. They're the ones who had the money, lending it out to black people and saying, yo, like, let's get it poppin'. That's dope.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
That's
my dumb ass thought Black Wall Street was just the game's record label. Like I didn't realize.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of cats pop because I remember when the game called its cool Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
I don't know how many cats probably knew the history, to be honest.
That's
the name.
crazy, man.
That's why we need it every year. We need a documentary every year on this joint.
It's fucking crazy.
But the timing of it too, I think, is a great time right now for people who really would want to watch this even more since the pandemic.
And that's the thing about these things.
Personally, I think timing wise.
That's the thing about these things sometimes I don't like is when companies want to jump on stuff when things are happening.
That's what she was saying. She was like, yo, these big ass names, now that it's cool.
I mean, I'm not mad because they're reaching out to me too. But I'm just saying, like, this stuff that that could have been done years ago.
Yeah.
You know.
And also, I did get a couple of those calls, and I'm sure you get these, where it's like people who told you to your face some shit, call you, and you know, you're a superstar. Hey, superstar.
Right.
Superstar. Didn't you just tell me I wasn't worth a certain thing?
Right,
like, how am I
right.
You know that I don't know.
180 switch.
That's not the greatest. Actually, it is good. I like that. I love it.
Inclusivity.
Yes.
People were not talking about inclusivity. You know, I feel like, you know, even 5-10 years ago, like I don't remember. You know how I know these things? Because that word gets thrown around so much now.
Yeah.
During that time, even when we were making the doc, like I don't think I even heard that fucking word. I've heard exclusive. I never heard inclusive. Never heard it. Right? Like it was all about exclusivity.
Sure.
I never was hearing inclusive around.
Sure. That's just hilarious.
That's amazing. Well, Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street, played on CNN. It premiered on CNN about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it's on CNN now, but it's gonna be on HBO Max pretty soon if it's not already there.
Woo!
Yeah.
Make sure you go watch it.
So
It's I think like
amazing.
Is it 2 hours, 2.5 hours?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half. It's a wild story, and I like that analogy you made about like Wakanda.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds silly, but no, that's what it was. Like, you know, yeah, go watch it.
Where can people
it
find me?
premiered in CNN. It premiered on CNN.
Yeah.
It's gonna be on HBO Max.
Yeah.
What happens now for you?
After
After this years of journey you had after Bad Rap, being like, I don't
Yeah.
want to make another doc. You make another
Yeah.
doc, and that's a very difficult doc to make. Now what?
I get the opportunity and privilege to choose from a lot of different docs, right? My agents are at WME. That's great. So I'm in talks about a bunch of different things, but one story that I want to do I don't even know if I should be even talking about this, but I want to do internet. I want to do an internet story,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
and I have a couple of the internet stories that I really want to do specifically about, let's say, like 90s internet. There's a specific figure from the 90s who nobody really knows about, but she like spawned the entire video age that we're in. She was the first video influencer, you know, first person to put her camera on and let people watch her.
iCarly.
Oh, wow.
No,
Nah.
I'm kidding.
iCarly.
That was 2000. Sorry.
But like back in those days, it wasn't video. It was like a photo every 5 minutes,
Right.
a photo every 30 minutes. And like you had guys jerking off to that, right? Like, so I want to explore early internet stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Rex gonna chime in right about now. That was actually
That's fucking.
that's interesting. I can't wait for that. And I think we're in the time where we can do a doc about the internet.
Yeah.
We've been in the internet for quite a while now.
Do you
Man,
have any docs you recommend for us to watch, or anything that you've recently seen? on TV?
My favorite. Oh man,
Not even doc, just like what you've been watching.
My
for
favorite docs are
entertainment.
the sports docs, like the 30 for 30s, because they're never about the sport.
Yeah.
They're always
Yeah,
about like
yeah,
something
yeah.
else. My favorite 30 for 30 is this one about, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's about, his name's Steve Bartleman. He was a Chicago Cubs fan who, like, they're supposed to win the World Series or something, and he
caught it,
tries
right?
to catch the ball.
right? Yep.
Right?
And he's like hated as
And he's
fuck.
hated forever.
Yeah.
And he becomes the scapegoat for why Chicago never won the World
Wow.
Series. And it's such a good. It's not about the World Series. It's
Yeah.
about this man. Right? I love that. I love that shit.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite documentaries is The King of Kong.
I haven't seen King of Kong.
One of my favorite. People call it one of the best documentaries of all time.
I gotta watch it.
Because it plays out like a real movie, like a scripted movie.
Oh shit.
It's about video games, right?
Yeah, there's the heel, the villain,
Oh wait, is
the
that the
hero.
guy?
These two old fools who play Donkey Kong and like beef it. But this guy who's been
awesome.
like the champ for hella long, and this
Right,
new
right.
guy comes in.
Right.
And there's like
good.
sabotage and things like that.
Oh,
It's so
shit.
fucking good. And then obviously one of the classics is Crumb, based on Robert Crumb.
Yeah, Robert Crumb.
And that's considered one of the top documentaries too.
Damn.
I used to be, I made a documentary when I was 13 years old.
Did you?
Yeah, I used to go to a youth center that encouraged like filmmaking, and I don't know if I told you I wanted to be a filmmaker before I rapped or anything.
No, you never told me.
Yeah, I used to be the weird kid with the camcorder all
You
the time.
never
I had
told me that.
old high
He
eight
told me that about
tapes.
acting too.
His is
though.
documentary. Good rap.
No. I was really
said
into
about a lot of
I was
things.
really into documentary film, and when I was 13, I made a short documentary on like it's like graffiti and in this neighborhood in South Central, and I'll show it to you one day.
You know,
Do you have it, bro?
Yeah,
Let's
actually,
go.
I'd like to see.
And
it.
I have
NFT.
baby photos. I have your baby photos. I forgot to bring them. I was supposed to bring them today.
Oh wait, the actual physical
Yeah,
copies?
the physical copies of your
What the fuck?
baby
How come
photos.
you never returned it?
I know, forgot. They're like really special photos as well. Like, I don't know why you don't have them. Sorry, I'll bring them.
Now I can't tell my history because Salima came here and took my baby photos. Okay.
Oh my
amazing. That's
gosh.
amazing.
yo.
But yeah, I didn't know you had that. So please, you live in LA now, so. Yeah, but documentary is something
Yeah.
I really wanted to do. But so I know how much work it goes into it, and so much research, and so much it's draining.
Salima, we fucking love you,
I
man.
love you too.
I want to take some calls from the people out there.
Are those what I think they are? What?
Yeah, we got a PO box situation. We'll go through. But I want to take some calls and any questions for Salima Koroma here, filmmaker, director of Bad Rap, Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street. Any questions you might have, please call in. We got a lot of smart people in our community. Very curious people in our community. So call on our Discord right now. Ask away some questions. You know, I want to hear from you guys on what you think, and if you've even seen the documentary, either one, and if you have any burning questions, hit us up.
Release your doc.
This is
We have a lot of
amazing.
loyal fans up in the chat.
Rip City said this is one of the best guests in the pod for sure. Hell
Wow.
yeah!
Thank
baby.
you.
Have you been doing a lot of pods or interviews?
Pods? No, I've been doing panels with
Yeah.
like people like Don Lemon, you know. So I
Yeah.
have to be. I can't say shit.
She just did Trevor Noah Daily Show.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
So I think like
All of us, wow.
Oh, like a couple nights before, I saw Trevor Noah breaks up with girlfriend, right?
So anyway, did you have a crush on Trevor Noah or what?
Huh?
Did you have a crush on him? Like you just
No, I've never had a crush on.
You never thought he was like cute or anything? He's a good-looking dude.
He's a good-looking
Yeah.
guy. Like he's definitely husband.
Yeah.
He looks surprised all the time.
And he's so gracious, and he talks like this with a lisp. You know, it's so nice. He's gracious, and yeah, he was cool. He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the interview.
Did
and
you?
Yeah.
You tweeted it. Thank you. You love me.
Because I was
you
proud.
support me.
I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Aww.
Like, cause I'm not gonna. Like, you told me about the documentary a while ago, and then it just kind of got sprung up. I saw the the trailer for it come out, and I was like, oh shit, it's
This
out.
is it.
It's happening.
Yeah,
It's happening.
This is
It's
it.
happening.
And I started seeing you all over the place
Yeah.
doing interviews. So I was definitely proud and just good to see you go from like Bad Rap Tribeca indie circuit to this big production that's going to be on CNN. It's such an
LeBron Kim.
important project because I know you had to just for 5 years think about Korean rappers. So I was like, I'm happy for you. You can move on now, Salima. You can move on. Salima we went to Korea together.
Oh, yeah.
When Bad Rap premiered out in Korea.
That
Yeah.
was so fun.
And I remember Salima was really mad one night because me and Jay Key was hanging out with all these Korean rappers and
we didn't hit her up.
big R&B singers, and so it was Jay Key's responsibility.
Right.
Jay Key didn't hit up Salima, who's a fan of
he feels
all these
guilty when it's
Korean
Jay
artists.
Key.
She's a fan of all these artists we're hanging out with,
I
having
know.
drinks with.
Who were there? Who was there?
It was like Zion T.
Oh,
Yeah. And then Salima was like, "How the fuck you not invite me to this
For
thing?"
sure.
And Jay Key is like,
Yeah.
I feel like he has a Korean friends.
Yeah,
So when he's out there, he's like, "Let me do my own
Yeah, he's doing his
thing
thing.
because
Yeah,
they love
yeah.
me. I'm the Korean-American plug to them, And so like,
He doesn't sound like that.
he doesn't sound like that.
No, he does not.
That's my impersonation of everybody. He's like, I'm Salima. Listen to me. I have documentaries.
Damn.
No, I'm not impersonation guy. I can do a lot of things. Impersonations is not one of them.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
yeah. But yeah, so she was really mad about that.
I
But
was
how was your experience in Korea? Did you have fun?
Oh, I had so much fun. We were there for like a week or something like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they put us up in like a hotel that I thought was, I don't know, what's it called? Sex hotel?
Like a love motel.
A love motel,
Oh, yeah.
right? Which I didn't love. And so I got an Airbnb. And
Right.
that shit was nice. The floors were warm. The
Yeah.
place was, and that was at the time there were mad protests.
Oh, yeah.
For the president. So like I'd see it outside my my window, but people were mad nice. I was wearing like an African head wrap, and I had a bunch of like Korean older men come to me. You're so pretty. Your hair is so pretty.
Right.
And I just got mad love when I went out there.
That's what's up.
awesome.
I wanted to ask because I totally forgot. Like, what was the reception of Bad Rap out there?
Oh man. So in America, you hear people laugh.
Yeah.
The cue, I know every
Exactly.
cue. You go to Korea, they're laughing in their heart. Like they don't laugh out loud
For
at all.
sure.
I thought they didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
You're like sitting there.
But I remember afterwards, some of my Korean friends talking to me about it
They
and
love
showing
it.
me love, and didn't realize that it's hard.
It's
for
hard.
us out.
Yeah.
So I thought Korean rappers get love. All the Korean rappers here get love. We all love the Korean. I don't know why that's my impersonation.
They love
Like my impersonation of Koreans was way more racist than any other.
Why are they
regular
Russian?
people.
It's true.
What? Korean rappers don't get endorsement deals and branding deals? Korean rappers get treated like kings.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
what was the?
They loved it. No,
they
they
did, right?
really
Yeah.
fucked with it. I because it's rap, it's puns, your whole battle rap scene. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still am not sure how they felt about that. And even the subtitles, I'm not sure what the subtitles said. Right?
Subtitles was good.
They were good.
It was very good.
Our Chloe did those subtitles.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
great. But the reception was great. It was at a theater. The first time I seen my film in a theater with the whole ticker.
Yeah, that's true.
That was great. You were there. You really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
'Cause I couldn't speak Korean. I couldn't understand.
I mean, in America, it was like people loved it, and there was like definitely like a reciprocation and laughter and all that because it's familiarity. But in Korea, it was like a foreign reverence. You know what I mean? Like they didn't understand the plight that we had.
Wait. Why wasn't I not there?
Yeah, why weren't you there?
Because I was in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the
screenings?
premiere or screening.
Yeah.
And everyone was at the premiere. Like,
Why wasn't I there? Now I feel shitty. There must
no,
have
no, no.
been
You
some-
were. You were at the premiere. We have
I
photos.
was.
We have
okay,
photos.
okay.
Yeah,
Because
for
I
sure.
thought I was like, why would I have?
You were
missed
absolutely
that?
at the premiere.
Maybe but there was multiple, right? I must have missed
there were-
one or two. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. How many CGVs could we go? You know what I mean? how many CGVs?
There were 3. You did 1.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I just remember like a lot of the people did go see it in the scene. You
Right.
know, rappers and friends in the subculture scene are there.
Yeah.
And they were like, they told me like they felt for me and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
They
mean? They were
did?
showing me mad love. They were
Really?
like, respect.
No.
Respect.
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 Yeah.
Really?
No,
I didn't
for
know
sure.
that.
No, they showed me mad respect. I think the battle part really resonated with them. They're like, oh, respect from the
Really?
battle part.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
feel like you were complaining?
You mean what do you mean? Just in general throughout the documentary?
Yeah, and in the battle,
I did.
the battle scene part, because that was you were a bit rusty. You said it. You were a bit rusty.
I felt like I was complaining about where I should be in my
That's-
life.
that was
But here's the thing. I just want to finish.
No,
I'm sorry, I
go.
don't
No,
want to
please.
interrupt.
No, I'm sorry.
I think people think about it as complaining and that I'm not grateful for where I am. But the truth is, even at that point, like I was in the game. You know what I mean? Like I've been in the game doing my thing.
Yeah.
And so I think people who have been pursuing for a long time, yeah, they have expectations of maybe where they should be in their career. It wasn't like I wasn't grateful. Like I
Yeah.
felt like I was paying dues. Like
Yeah.
I was out here
You
paying.
did. You felt
I
that
was
way.
paying dues for a long time, and I
Okay.
still feel that way. That I
Yeah.
paid dues. You know, I don't think anyone could take that away from me. You know, I have accolades. You know, and what I've done, it's okay. It's okay to want to. You know, expect more from your career. What
do you feel like you want to do? Do you still expect that for your rap career?
Nah, I think I'm a lot older and I have different aspirations in what I want to do. You know, and I respect rap so much that I know if it's something that you don't do 100%, you're gonna get the results that you're gonna see it in your career.
What do you want to do?
Yesterday, can I say yesterday, he went up at the Hollywood Improv.
Oh, Joe
and
Coy.
he opened for Joe
Joe Coy did a show last minute.
There?
Yeah,
I was there.
Joe
I
Coy
saw
did a
it.
show last minute, and he was like, "You want to like do a set in the beginning, open up." So I go over there, and I'm like nervous as fuck, but like I do my set, do my thing with like 3 other of his homies. So he just invited
King
a couple
Batch
homies,
was there. He
Yeah.
opened, and then he
couple of
went
homies,
after.
and then this fool goes up, and Joe does 4 hours on stage. Like just riffing,
But 3 hours of riffing.
testing out material,
Material.
riffing,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
last hour, Tiffany Haddish comes up, and they're on that stage for an hour and a half, just roasting people,
Wow.
and just riffing back and
Haddish
forth.
was there too?
Yeah, and
Wow.
dude, it was
That
4
was
hours of like
crazy.
they killed it.
Wow.
It was like for me.
It
More than
really
just me
was-
being able to open up, I really soaked up a lot of game.
Oh.
And one thing that he said really resonated with me was about how what he learned is not just making people laugh all the time. It's like when you have the crowd is when they're dead silent.
Ooh.
And to be able to live in that silence
Wow.
and be okay with it.
It's the Dave Chappelle.
And I feel like he's so right about that because I remember when I did my TED Talk, I wanted to try to do like punchlines.
Right.
And every time it just more quiet it was the whole way through. I was like fucking like dying up there.
Right.
I was like, why can't I get a reaction? But the truth is people don't go to TED Talk for punchlines.
No.
They're waiting for the whole, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it's gonna be, 10 to 20 minutes of you just talking up
Right.
there. And
You did a TED Talk? When was
You
this?
clearly didn't do your research before hopping on here. That's okay, we didn't either. This guy thought Black Wall Street was the Games crew, obviously, before you hopped on. Like, oh, she's gonna talk to us about the Games documentary. Should be interesting. I didn't know they had a history.
No, he did a TED Talk. It was amazing.
But yeah, I did a TED
see
Talk. It was just about battle rap and what battle rap taught me about me and my roots and what people's perception of Asian people was.
Right. He
and
killed
things
it.
When was
like
this?
that.
When was it?
This came 2 years ago. It was right before the pandemic came out.
Oh my gosh. I have to see this. Please send
Yeah.
me a link.
I'll send you a link. I'm not gonna lie, my presentation was not great because I was really nervous. I'd never done anything like this where it's not a comedy set or a battle rap or there's no
Right.
beat. It's just me talking and I just had to
Hi.
I lost a lot of weight actually. I think I lost weight on my face, yo. I realized I gotta stop wearing beanies when there's black backgrounds. Because it just looks like my.
You have your face, my body. How the fuck did that happen, dude?
I was like, this pink sweater will get him.
Yo, Alex, you could have picked any other.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Tell them.
Bottle of Pepto-Bismol up there. But yeah, it was great. I thought it was great, but I definitely
So how do you
public
get the
speaking
silence?
is a whole other thing.
How do you get the silence?
It's not getting well. No, what Joe Coy was saying is like when it's silent, like they're listening.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They're not lost in anything. You have 100% of their attention. You know, and it's what you do with that. And it's like Chappelle, right? Like he goes on these rants, and it's not about all the laughs sometimes, but everyone's glued.
Yeah.
Like your ears are glued.
The captivation,
to it.
bro.
And it's like being okay with that. And when you're okay with it, you could really get into the storytelling.
Does that come from being Dave Chappelle? You know, you know what I mean?
Well, I think it becomes like when you become a master storyteller.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
But you have that. Yesterday when I watched you, I felt like there were parts there. You know, you're a good storyteller, so there's like you'll hear silence, right?
Right.
But he's usually trying to like fill it in or
Yeah.
something like that instead. But I feel like you command attention. People are there to listen, and you could see people kind of like
Yeah.
they like.
I mean,
they're engaged.
I come into the game very humbly, respectfully. You know, I know there's so many people who've been doing this for years, and I'm given this opportunity probably because I'm also a rapper coming from that game. A little bit easier just to get a slot like that. So trust me, I know there's so much I have to work on. Even yesterday was like a very good experience for me to soak in that game and know like kind of where I'm at, right? Because it wasn't like there was like 4 or 5 openers that were all his homies, and they all did better than me. I can truly say that.
So you want to do stand up? That's your goal, or you want to do it all?
I want to do it all. Stand up is something that I love because I've been a fan of stand up before rap, all that, and I feel like I've implemented elements of stand up in everything that I've done.
I've definitely heard you talk very well about stand up.
But it's one of those things I love because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And I haven't felt that way in a long time. Like I haven't felt nervous and uncomfortable on that level in a long time. So it's refreshing when I get those butterflies. I'm shitting bricks, you know, and I go on stage and I'm getting flushed. Things don't work. I love it. Yeah. Because think about it, like, you know, at this point as a rapper, like what's gonna work, right? Right. Even bits like that I've done between songs when I perform, like I know all the bits that are gonna work. I've done it for years. I'm sure all the people watching gone to a show or two have heard some of my bits.
Y'all not ready?
And there's comedians who do the same bits for years too. And sometimes they get comfortable because they know what works all the time. But how do you grow from that? You're not gonna grow.
To bring that discomfort back.
I'm trying to bring that discomfort back.
No, it's huge.
That diarrhea feeling.
That diarrhea feeling, baby. Should we get some callers in? Or?
Yeah, let's get some callers. Let's start with Jamel Boogie, DJ Amel. You're on the air, Boogie.
What's good, Bug?
Hello? Unmute yourself.
Can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Yeah, what up? What up?
We'll come back.
All right.
Oh, here he is. Boogie, what's up?
What's good?
What's up, man?
I'm chilling. I'm about to go to work. Just I always catch the like podcast version on Spotify, so I had time today, and I just got caffeine, so I was like, I better catch them on time.
Nice, man. You got any questions for us?
A lot, but I don't got a lot of time to ask them. So, like, Salima, when was the first time you heard about Tulsa? Because I like heard about it maybe like a year ago. I graduated high school in 2018. I never heard about it, and I was just like on Instagram one day, and one of those like ads about like growing your wealth comes up, and I'm like, what is this? And they started talking about like I think it was an independent like documentary or something like that.
Yeah, when did you hear about it?
First time I heard about it was in college. So I went to UCLA and took this African-American studies course. And it was, the one section of it was about black towns, right? And I was like, black towns? What the fuck is a black town, right? In the like early 1900s, where they had their own sort of communities and their country clubs. And so it was like, I had to go to college. I had to take this particular class, and I had to read the book that was assigned for me to learn about this. So, and this was like, what, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. So that's when I first learned about it. But you're not going to hear about it in high school, not even if you're in Oklahoma, not even if you're in Tulsa. So, yeah, you're probably not going to hear about it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's so wild, you know, when we hear that, it's so new to people, like that something like that could have existed because of our history of this country. Yeah. Of black people being enslaved and all that. So when you hear about it, like that's why when you saw Wakanda, it was like, look at this fantasy world.
That's
black people thriving.
Yes.
And that just tells you what it does, and think about what that could have done, right?
Yeah.
Because just inspiration alone makes people do crazy things.
100%.
Like I'm thinking about J.B. Stratford, the dude who owned mad hotels,
right?
So many homes, and I'm like, why haven't I heard the name Stratford in a rap lyric? You know what I mean?
Never.
Why do I keep
we
hearing
hear
Trump? You know, but we don't hear Stratford.
Damn.
We don't hear about
That's some
girlies,
real
right?
shit.
Wow.
Like I want to hear that, bro.
And Stratford rhymes with a lot of things
Right?
really well.
Get the
Come
strap.
on.
You know?
Get the don't you need the strap for? Because you have a Stratford. No, but it's just like that's wild. That is wild though. Like,
Damn.
yeah. No, that was a good question. But you got anything else for us before we move on?
No, I just want to say I haven't been like active on listening to music, but I like found out about you like years ago. Like when I'm always really like looking to like listen to new artists, and so like that's just been what I do all the time. Like, and like you popped up, and I was like, oh shit, like he's on some other shit now. Like I think probably. It was probably like 2013, 2014, about the time that I got a phone. So, yeah, I just wanted to like commend you. You doing some good shit.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. And you must have been in like middle school then or some shit.
Like, I was like 8th grade, like right after I like got out of the like MP3 player phase.
Wow. That's what's up,
Boogie,
man.
thanks for calling in today,
you.
baby.
Calling, Boogie.
Appreciate that.
We got
Mandu Madness.
Mandu Madness, which was Rick's old screen
Yo,
name, I
chill the
believe.
fuck out, bro.
What's up, buddy?
Mandu Madness, please don't fail us. I need to talk to you.
I think muted. We here?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Hello?
We're good. We're good.
Hey,
We hear you.
there we go.
Hi, guys. I'm so nervous.
Oh, you're
Hey.
good.
Aw.
You're good.
Don't be nervous.
I watch your podcast like religiously, and my friend put me on. Her
Do you
name's
watch
Alex.
it on YouTube or you listen?
Yeah,
to
that's a good question. How do you listen? Do you listen to our podcast or do you watch the YouTube videos?
I mostly listen to it on Spotify.
Yes.
Sick.
Okay, cool.
So sick.
I'm really trying to get a gauge on this. Yeah, so this is good.
This is my first time catching.
Awesome. What's up, Mandu?
I didn't catch a lot of it. I got some of it, but I really appreciate the conversation
Yeah,
that you guys are having right now.
yeah, no, thank you to Salima.
Not Korean. I'm just gonna say that right now, just off top.
We play this the very problematic game sometimes. Well, it's become a thing because people we're not even trying to do it, but people call in now and be like, oh, like can we play Minority Report, which is the game we created, and you guess what the ethnicity of the caller is.
What's the demographic been?
It's been very mixed. It's
been
very
very
mixed.
mixed.
It's every
Surprisingly.
demographic.
Yeah.
Mandu Madness, do you mind if we play a quick round of Minority Report with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Where are you calling in from?
From Texas.
From Texas? All right. Can you say the sentence, please? Everybody tune into HBO Max to watch Salima's new movie.
Everybody tune in. What was the other one?
Everybody tune in to HBO Max to watch Salima's new movie.
Everyone tune in to HBO Max to see
Salima's new movie.
Selena new
Good. That's
movie.
good
Latina.
enough. You got enough.
Yo,
Jesus.
that's Latina right there. Straight
Latina?
up. 100%. Not
Where was
Korean,
she
though.
from?
She's from Texas.
I'm gonna say Latina too.
I want to say like something
kinda-
like Filipino or something.
I say light skin black.
Light
Light
skin
skin
black? All right, I was there too.
Wow, like
Mandu, where you at?
That's specific.
All right.
Yeah, that was right. Black.
Wow! Okay,
Wait,
cool.
a light skin black or
Yeah.
my
I'm
black?
like medium.
Like me?
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's
like-
like
She got it. She got it.
yeah. Okay, we'll give you that
Cool,
one. I'll give you
Mandu
that one.
Madness.
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
Fire.
Wait. Did she?
No. Yeah, please.
Did she ask anything?
Did
You
she
can ask a
wanna
question.
Did you want to ask anything, Mandu?
No, I just want to say thank you for having this conversation, and thank you for doing this podcast. And also, can you shout out to my best friend that introduced me to you guys?
Yeah.
Of
What's your
course.
best friend's name?
Oh, I love that.
Her name's Alexis Simpson.
Alexis Simpson was good. Inclusive. Inclusive.
Yeah, shout out Alexis. Thank you for putting Mandu Madness on.
Yeah.
Mandu, thank you so much for calling in.
You.
Appreciate you.
Yeeto.
Inclusive.
You know.
Hello.
What's good, bro?
Hi.
Hey. Life's good. How about you guys?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right. I
Hi,
feel
Ito.
energized.
Good. That's good. Sorry, I feel like I brought the energy way down. But I just wanted to ask. We were talking about bad rap earlier on and Korean hip hop in general, and I was wondering if any of you guys had one pet peeve, or maybe it's not a pet peeve, maybe it's a major problem with Korean hip hop. Like one person each maybe could be like, this is probably
pet
something
peeve.
that's problematic in Korean hip hop.
I know this is a hot topic these days.
Let's do it.
About Korean hip hop, and I mean it's been a topic for a very long time. I mean we obviously know all the stuff going on with J Park and that video and TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. So why don't
I
you tell
don't
me? Okay, no. I don't
You
know.
know.
I'm out the loop of everything. I've heard a little bit. You don't have to say it because I know.
Well, you
hairy.
can obviously know what the topic probably might be, right?
That's
It's
what I
probably appropriation, which
Appropriation,
is a
yes.
conversation
Right.
that's been going on for ages. You said so the pet peeve of it, there's a lot of pet peeves. There's and there is if you want to talk about appropriation, is yes, shit it goes down there.
Right.
I think Jay is one of those guys that he knows what's up.
Yeah.
He's not a stupid dude, but
Not at all.
I think the video that he just put out, yes, I can see how that's going to be looked at as problematic, because
I'm sorry, you guys. You have to tell me what.
oh, okay,
video-
so he has a music video, where he does a posse cut with all the up and coming Korean rappers, and there's
Korean-American or Korean rappers?
Korean rappers, and it's 30 Korean rappers. So? Yeah, it looks like crazy, right? But then 80% have braids, cornrows, and froze, afros. And here's the thing, and the reason, and let me tell you this, because hold on. Yeah, you can. Let me just say the statement first, Alex, before you put the video on or whatnot. Okay. Yeah, I just want to say that because this is a video where he wanted to just put on all the up and coming Korean
It's
rappers.
like a roster flex.
Yeah, he just wants to put out all the up and coming Korean rappers. Show them some love.
Yeah.
But 80% of them happen to have these hairstyles, right?
Yeah.
And I think the bigger problem is that the song DNA, when he posted the song, and he had this caption about our Korean roots. I want to say our Korean people have endured a lot. We came through through the thick and thin, and we rose on the top.
Right.
And it's in my DNA.
Right.
Our Korean people. And he really stuck to this Korean roots thing.
Yeah.
And then you see the video.
Right. And aesthetically.
and then aesthetically,
right.
you have all these things that stem from black culture, right?
Right.
So it just clashes with what he's saying in the caption to the video.
So what the motherfuckers want? The hanboks? What are we?
But that's what I'm saying. People are saying, why don't you lean more into the Korean roots? Then?
Right.
So to me, I get both sides, I don't think Jay intended what it to be, but this is literally the landscape of Korean hip hop.
I was just gonna say that.
He just literally put, he's doing, he just assembled 30 Korean rappers that are the up and coming Korean rappers of right now. This is how they look.
That's it.
Right.
Wow.
This is how they look. But I see how people are gonna look at this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
This
can't.
has always I used to write about this shit before the
Of course,
before the
Talk to 'em.
crossover. Right?
We've talked about it so many times.
I want to hear her.
This was inevitable. This is inevitable, especially right now. We sort of live in I like to call it the Tumblr society, where people are mad woke, bruh. They've been doing this for decades, bro.
Right.
this crossover is not. It's going to be problematic.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. Remember when? I guess I have a question though. Like, remember when Ichima came out?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Japanese version.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what that looked like? What did it look like? Can we bring that? Because I'm sort of interested what they were styled like.
I mean,
people fucked with it.
They
People
were
fucked with
sound.
it.
I mean, that wasn't really like a hair kind of criticism. It was more like, you know, trap. You know, they're like,
But no,
looking
they
at
didn't
all
get
the trap.
criticism for this, did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was the OG Mako remix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But visually,
You know what? Also, I feel like this song has to be an extra.
was it not
banger.
good? Was the
No, the song,
Yeah.
the Jay's DNA songs is cool. It's not Ichima.
Right.
You know what I mean?
right.
It's not Ichima, but also you got like way more rappers
Like,
on the DNA, the Jay Park.
I mean,
joint.
we fucked with this when it came out.
Yeah, they did.
And
People
I-
did fuck
like,
with it.
I like to say pre 2014,
Yeah, and
pre
like,
2013.
It doesn't
Cole
look
is wearing
too-
grills and stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, there was people saying little things here and there, but I think it is also the times. You
It's
know,
the times, for
it's
sure.
definitely the times too. But there's so many different elements that happen with these kind of things. You
Right.
know what I mean?
What, like for example, right? And this is so strange. When I used to write about these K hip hop artists, when they would talk about who their inspirations were, they would list some real ass, you know, black artists, right? That like, I'm just like, well, how do you know? But then they would say problematic as shit, like, I wish I could sing like a black person.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh!
And so it's this reverence that's problematic because that context doesn't exist normally in Korea. When those men are coming up to me and like, yo, your hair looks nice, your head wrap looks nice.
Yeah.
If I'm in America, I don't know that I'm cool with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I'm in Korea, it's a different context. The problem is it's just not going to translate because we live in a no context world, right?
Exactly.
It's just not gonna
No
It's the
context.
internet. That's the biggest. I think you said a huge thing. The no context world.
no
Like,
context world.
even a lot of people who might see that video may not even know Jay Park's history and what his stance on everything is,
100%,
because
yo.
Jay Park, I mean, he's really said a lot about these things and had been an advocate for, you know, really stating certain things. But he made some key mistakes in this thing
did. Yeah, I heard.
because in the beginning, if you're talking about what the song is supposed to represent, your Korean roots through your DNA and all, what the Korean people's endured, think about what people are gonna automatically look for when they see the video for it.
Yeah.
And then you see 30 dudes who it looks like they're trying to copy or emulate a hairstyle, clothing styles. Like,
But he's saying the positive. He's like, yo, these are my guys. We're about to show you who we are, right? It's the same thing. It's almost like the same reason in Bad Rap when Rex Dizzy got the idea was to show I am different, I'm American, I'm this in this weird way, and they didn't take it like that. They said, why don't you just show us who you are as a Korean guy, right?
Sure.
Like, that's what American audience want to see. They don't want to see what they feel is cosplaying as a black person,
Right.
Like, keep that shit in Korea is how they feel,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know if it's gonna translate. I don't know.
you know, to me, I think, you know, I'm just talking about how people are gonna see it,
Right.
because I'm not necessarily like angry about it or nothing,
Right.
but it does bug me. It bugs me because shit like that affects Asian Americans more than people out there.
Yes.
Those guys are still gonna get bottle service at any club they get into and get taken care of. They're gonna be praised. They're gonna get branding deals out there. But when people out here or globally see that,
Yeah.
we're gonna be the ones having these conversations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
right.
and that is annoying to me, and that's why I have a problem with that, because that's
of
just
the trickle
exhausting for
effects.
us.
'Cause
Like,
it's
I'm
just-
not
But
out
you
here.
know what?
Right,
Let me
right.
tell you something, right? Before Bad Rap like came out fully, you guys had gotten into it. I once went to bed and I woke up and on Twitter, you and Aquafina and maybe Rex Dizzy
Oh, yeah,
had gotten
that was-
into it with some woke Asians, is
Right.
what you said to me, right? And like, who were saying you're appropriating Black culture just by rapping. Right. And on top of that, I had Jay Key as my producer who was going around with me, and I didn't even realize Jay Key has
His
an accent.
Ebonics.
Yeah,
You know? So like, It's just what. So like even people were like that with y'all.
and that they were like that with us just for rapping.
Just
so
for rapping.
yeah. So I mean, that obviously is gonna get it, you know. But
and
I
like,
mean,
do
that
you
part,
feel
I'm not tripping
more
on that
woke?
part.
Do you feel more woke because you're looking at this Dean? I don't know. I haven't researched it.
Because my stance then of me just rapping has always just been the same, you know, like having been part of this culture, having understanding the history, of course. Like there's nothing that I feel like I have to answer to. You know what I mean? But this specifically is something else. You know, this is something else. So like I'm just kind of talking about how people are looking at this whole thing. I'm not talking about my personal thoughts on it. I know some of those kids. I know some of those kids. Do I agree with the hairstyles? No, I don't always agree with it. Do I think it's the biggest deal? No, because I know these kids don't know better either. And that's not an excuse, but what am I really? It's hard. Like these kids, they're in a whole other world. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This shit is
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I was saying the whole, it's cultural appreciation. Like, that's like the easy way of trying to get out. But yo, it's.
I mean, I wish we could see all of this and, you know, past all the aesthetic. The aesthetic and just maybe the words of the music and the beats and whatever it is that brings us, you know.
But hip hop is not like any other genre. It has every other aspect to it. It's not just the music. You know, hip hop is something it goes beyond it. It's everything. It is everything. And who you are. That's why I say this. Like when I talk about, you know, representing who you are. You know, when I hop on stage, it goes beyond just my music, because it's true.
100%.
It's true.
I'm gonna be real with you. Sorry for cutting you off. I just thought about something, and it is just that, like, and I'm not excusing anything. I'm just thinking it's thought experiment. I watch who's the 6ix9ine? What's his name?
Tekashi,
right?
Yeah.
My guy's wearing weaves, you know, and you know, you got the little pump, and you have a lot of these non-black American artists who are absolutely appropriating. No one calls them out on it. No one says anything. I actually see them on par as the folks in the DNA, the rappers in the DNA video. I see them on par, right? I'm just saying to think about it, right? If we are talking about appropriation, we're talking about some bullshit,
right?
Or if we're just saying, oh, it's fun, he's just having fun, that's it, then let that be it.
But that's why all these things have different factors.
I know.
It's so tricky, right? It's like what you said about Ichima and DNA. It's also like sometimes some certain songs are extra bangers and you might get a pass.
Right.
That shit better knock. Like it knocked the think piece out of me. That shit slapped so hard. Like I was gonna write a think piece, but it slaps. The song slaps. Like you know what I mean? So there are so many factors to this. Or there's a guy who might be so like ridiculous that you're just not. It's exhausting. You're like, that's not even worth. Like obviously this is a joke, and people don't even want to go into it.
It's just riffraff, you know.
Right.
Got you.
And I was just saying that too with that video. Like, you might have gotten away if it was like a 6-person posse cut. 30? There's a limit. You throw 6 motherfuckers with braids, okay. Maybe you put 30 dudes with variations of black hair? No. Like, you're going to get called out for that.
I have to watch that video. I need to listen to it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, but there's so many factors. You're right. There's so many fucking factors.
There's so many factors, yet there's also no context.
No context.
So it's so weird.
Yeah, but there's no context for the audience, the American audience, but there's also no context for them. Very little context for the artists there. So there's just like a bunch of no context going around. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's just not. It's not gonna work. It's not.
All right.
Damn, Yito. Thank you for that.
Yito was on the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like put in some quick comments here.
Sure, yeah. You gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta
Okay,
go.
cool. Peace out. Steffi has to go. She has another job.
Yeah.
Bye, Steph.
See ya.
Yeah.
We'll do it later.
as far
You
as-
just have to Photoshop her in later or something.
Bye. Good to meet you.
All right. Yeah. What's your comments, Yito?
Bye, Steph.
Yeah, I just wanted to like think through because there was a lot of information being passed around here. I guess the Ichima case, it was a lot about, I guess the narrative at the time, I think was a lot about the commercial aspect of like really biting Ojinako's kind of flow beat, like in the whole like music video concept. And so that was very much more, I think it was framed more as like a commercial kind of overlap with in that sense. And so
Right.
Kojima had a very like personal problem with it, and then they worked it out, and I think it was much better. And I think when I think through like appropriation here in North America, I'm in Canada, but like if someone here that is not Black is kind of appropriating the culture and the aesthetic and the music to a commercial end, they're directly competing with Black artists that might be more deeply rooted in the culture and, in our colloquial sense, deserve it more, right? As far as that commercial sense, I don't see a lot of that being a factor in the Korean hip hop conversation. They're not really competing for market share per se here, and so they're not interfering with the well-being of Black artists per se. What I think there is a huge problem with is that they are extending a lot of the most problematic and most kind of toxic, pure aesthetic views of Black culture, and they use their music and their aesthetic for commercial ends, and they're not really doing anything to perpetuate or support the underlying framework of hip hop as kind of a celebration of Black culture, celebrating Black
there. You know what? There's actually some interesting things he said right here.
Yeah.
About the types of appropriation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
From the aesthetic side to
Aesthetic.
Korea, but the Korean American or Asian American, the appropriation of taking money away from
That's
Black creatives' hands,
Right.
which is that's pretty interesting. But the truth is, can't you see that the same way with Asian artists too? Because Asian artists, if they appropriate Black culture in Asia, it's global music.
Yeah.
This is all global. I think it all goes hand in hand. The same thing with that. I don't know.
That is true.
What are your thoughts? on
do you have any thoughts?
No, please.
I don't. This. Oh God.
I don't know how we got into that. I know
Yeah,
we
yeah.
talked about this so many times.
Okay. It's a hard conversation. I would say I resonate with what Yido said about the aesthetic. That I agree with that. Just taking the aesthetic and nothing else, and not showing any other part. It's like the caricature and the stereotype of what Blackness is. That's an issue. I would love. I mean, not that I would love. I don't care. But like, what about a nerd? Like, is there a nerd, hip hopper, Korean rapper, or is it always the grill, the afro? Is it always that? Right? What else is there? Right? Maybe this is the beta part. Maybe this is the 1.0, and there is a 2.0 and a 3.0 coming. Right? I don't know the answer.
I mean, there are variations of that already. I think this is the polarizing thing, though.
Like what? What?
Just. I mean, there's the nerdy Korean rapper and all that, the softer, all those. There's most Korean rap does lean. There's a lot of K-pop leaning Korean rap,
Right.
But
Even
I mean,
the K-pop stuff. From what I remember, I can't think.
it was like Epic High.
Okay.
That was like more like happy Korean rap.
Happy.
I don't know what to say. It's like very like pleasant coffee shop Korean rap.
Yes, yeah, coffee shop.
Yeah. So
We're talking Tabla?
Yeah.
I'm just saying there are different Dumbfoundead. I'm the nerdy rapper. But I said this, like, honestly, one of the reasons that people fucked with me early on was when I was coming up, all the Korean rappers were trying to be extra hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am a normal guy.
Which Korean rappers?
Korean
Rappers?
Korean Americans. Like, I would look at Rick and Danny, Decipher, Shogun, all of them as like, the East Coast rappers, like, obviously look more like street.
Right.
I was if you saw my career and you're like, oh, this is guys like a Lupe or like
But I'm talking about the Korean rappers,
Right.
who like they have the same sort of. I don't know if there's any other like nerdy Korean rapper who's trying to cross over, but like it's always the caricature as the aesthetic, right? That's I got to side eye that. There's something to be said for that. What else you got? Is there a different aesthetic and you're still a dope rapper? You know what I mean? Can you show us that? I'd be more open to that.
I feel like thanks for calling, man. We're gonna keep it pushing. You said some great points though. Before we get Mac Easy on, I will say there's been so much conversation in the past couple of years about the Black and Asian relationship. The one thing I just want to point out in the past year that I think has done wonders for that community being bridged and the solidarity is mixed artists that are half black, half Asian.
Ooh.
Yes.
And just by them winning.
Yeah.
No panels, no nothing. Just by half black, half Asian artists winning and representing both sides.
Like who?
Her. Shout out Wolf.
Sweetie.
Janae Aiko, even Anderson when he talks about his Korean roots.
Wolf Tyler.
Wolf Tyler, Guap Dad 4000. Yeah. Just by these artists, I feel like embracing both sides, which Saweetie does. She talks about the Filipino side a lot. Her does too. And I just feel like them winning has just done more than,
and just the
than
validity
celebrity Asian panels or whatnot, because what they're doing is just showing young Asian and black youth that they represent both of us, and you know there's more similarities.
I mean, their parents did the ultimate collaboration. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it creates more empathy for each other's community just when they do their thing. I feel like I don't know
for sure. Dude.
All right, let's talk to Mac Easy real quick.
Oh, Mac Easy, I know this guy. I think.
Hello.
All right, what's up, Mac?
Hi.
Hey. What up, Mac?
Yeah, no, I kind of missed about like the first hour because I was on my way home after work. But no, I basically called in because I knew Salima was going on, and just wanted to give her flowers and show appreciation for like making Bad Rap all the way back then, because I saw Dumb announce it like way back in like 2013, and then you know, seeing it go through the production stages, and then actually seeing it go onto Netflix and all the platforms, and really like putting Asians in hip hop and entertainment out there and elevating everyone on another level. So, you know, just wanted to thank you for doing that. And
Mac, you were there. You were there from the beginning. Thank you. I remember you for sure.
Yeah, the doc was all right.
I mean, I even put like an appreciation post on Instagram, just like seeing like, you know, I was just so proud seeing it like go out there, and yeah, just wanted to show appreciation for that, basically.
Salima Koroma, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, real talk though, she put so many hours and love and years into this. You said 5-6 years?
4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5 years of your life.
So did you guys.
Nah, but after we did our part, like we're done. And you were like, no, you edit and submit it to the festivals and all that. We'll just show up to the premiere. But yeah, I appreciate it. Now I feel like I have like a time capsule or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This thing is so special to me.
Mac, I think I don't know I don't remember if it was you. Did you have some merch of ours? Did you have like the Bad Rap stuff?
Yeah.
Did you ever? Were you the one who took a photo with Chance the Rapper? Was that you?
Yep.
That was you.
Wow,
Salima. He like had the Bad
well.
Rap gear on and was like hanging out with Chance. Just to see the fact that Chance the Rapper and you were, you know, saw our Bad Rap merch, that was pretty cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to, because when I went to that concert, it was like, it had the meet and greet and everything, and I thought, okay, you know, I'm going to get a photo with Chance. So I want to, like, you know, represent, you know, Asians in hip hop and all that. So, you know, I purposely put that out there. And I think Chance may have, like, did some things with some of the Bad Rap crew as well. So I thought, oh, you know, maybe this might like spark something in his mind or something like that. So just did that. But
awesome.
No, again, like, thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you for your support, seriously, throughout the years. Thank you so much.
Wow, some people are calling this the top guest so far.
Whoa!
How many guests y'all had? How many guests y'all had?
No,
5 guests?
All credits to us. Yeah.
Wow.
Good.
Top
All credits to you,
guest.
definitely.
We've had some incredible documentary filmmakers here.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. You're the only one. Well, thanks for calling in, Mac. And your flowers have been given to Salima.
Thank you, guys. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
London on the track. What's up?
London.
Hello.
How are you? Yo, what's good?
How's it going?
Good.
Good. I don't want to beat the J Park thing, you know, like a dead horse, but I did have to call in about it. Just because I think there's some added context to that, you know, comes into the conversation with it being called DNA. I've read mixed things. You know, and some people have said it's kind of like a riff off of Kendrick Lamar's DNA. So if you're like thinking about it, you know, also from that context and that video and like you know, his experience as a Black man and talking about how, you know, it's in his DNA to be, you know, coming up from oppression and things like that. And if you're thinking about it like, oh, in a way where it's kind of like an ode to that song, and if he wanted to put his own spin on it and, you know, do that, then I think, yeah, it should have showcased a lot more of the Korean, you know, culture and that kind of side of things. And it's, you know, and it's kind of difficult because, like, with the Black community, like, hip hop is kind of like Black culture. It's not all of Black culture, but it's so ingrained that it's also just like, it's hard to separate, to say this is just hip hop, you know, and this is just Black culture and whatnot. And I think that's why people get, you know, kind of got really upset out the kind of way about it. So
I mean, the truth is, kids out there don't want to wear hanboks and rap, you know, wearing hanboks and
Alex,
Don't be dope though.
and put, yeah, I know, and be in like hella Koreaned out shit,
right?
Because we love doing that as Korean Americans here,
right?
We love doing all this like Korean aesthetic shit, but I'm telling you, you go out there, they don't like that shit. When they want like palm trees and lowriders and shit. And, no, real talk. Like, I'm just being real.
Shit.
But it's awesome. But then if it was the same video and it wasn't called DNA and it didn't have that disclaimer about the, you know, being proud of, you know, I think it would have been a totally different story.
Can I just
like
add
same
something?
Video under a different context, you know?
London, I don't know if you remember back in like 2013 or something like that. I think it was Kendrick, it might have been Drake. One of them came out with a song where they called out everybody. They called out
Control.
like,
It was Kendrick.
It was Kendrick, right? Yeah. And I don't know if you remember, but that like set off this whole domino effect where hella Korean rappers started making these diss tracks, right? Like they were energized by this moment and felt like, yo, I want to have my posse cut where I diss this person, this person, this person. It almost feels like this is the energy that has. Is like, yo, I'm gonna show you the dopest. Like we're not, you know, we are dope too, and I'm gonna show you the dopest motherfuckers in Korea, right? Like I can see that sort of and leaning into this like Asian pride thing that's happening right now. Right. I can see why it was thought to be a good idea.
You see, that's why everything snowballed into a terrible thing, because that's what it should have been. The whole thing got diverted. No one was listening to the raps. They started just attacking everything, right? Because that's what Jay wanted to do. I don't think there's anything wrong with just being like, oh, the song's called DNA, because he's just being like, because you know, Korean, he's talking about his Korean DNA and the roots of Koreans and their oppression throughout history too. That's what he said in the caption. Right. But that made it a huge problem when you see the visual. You know what I'm saying? Like shit has to resonate too. If you're gonna make a music video, that shit better rock when you turn the volume down to mute.
100%.
It has to hit. 100%. The message should hit too that way.
Right.
Without the music.
True. That's true.
Was there no images of like Korean shit? Because I think that would have been dope.
I'm gonna do one today.
I don't know. I just feel like that's the thing that went wrong. You know, talking about the because that's what he was trying to imply with the DNA part about the proud history of Korean culture. But when you see the music video, you don't necessarily see the pride, right? Like, do you see the pride of Korean culture in it?
Yeah.
You know, if you're proud of your natural hair, let that shit go down straight as fuck like bangs, motherfucker. Like, you better have 30. There should have been 30 dudes with bangs in there. That's how I say it. There should have been 30 Korean rappers with bangs. That shit just straight as a fucking arrow going down their fucking face. Yeah, I swear to God, I didn't want to see one curl. If they're proud of who they are, they shouldn't have had one curl in that music video.
Okay. Yeah. And I think the other issue was the, you know, throwing up signs and stuff like that, because even Black people will call other Black people out if you're, you know, you're not from the hood and you're doing all kinds of, you know, stuff.
Oh, were they throwing up signs too?
A lot. It's like, you know, they were throwing up some signs, and I watched a couple like reaction videos, and people are saying, you know, like, you know, I have people who have died behind this and stuff, and like, I know
that's for sure.
Those are all understandable criticisms. I get that. I'm literally. I think there's so much elements, but I'm just saying to the simple point. It's like, as a creative, right? You look at that, it is not, it's not presented well. You know what I mean? Dude, trust me, I love Jay. I don't think Jay is a bad guy at all. Like, I'm just talking about as a creative standpoint,
Yeah.
like
I'm
it's
sorry.
not a good call.
People,
you know?
I know people right now are saying, well, why they got to wear helmbucks? It's not that. I guess I'm coming from like, if I am like, when I watch, let's say Wale, who's African, right? When he's repping Nigeria, I'm not Nigerian, but you know, when he's repping Nigeria, that feels the type of way. You know, if he comes into the scene and he's wearing sort of like the Africana, you know, with just a little bit of it, right? That shit is fire. When you used to go to your battles, the battle that you went to, you had this like Korean flag that was dope. And I guess that's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about motherfuckers got to go in wearing the humbucks. You know what I mean? But there is some element, if you're trying to cross over into an American, like, let's be real, you're coming into an American entertainment sphere, and there's certain things that you have to do. There's just certain things that you have to do, period. And maybe some of that is, and this is what old boy was trying to say in Bad Rap about Rex Dizzy, I want to know a little bit about you. I want to know a little bit about you.
Right.
Don't tell me about me. I've already seen it.
Right. Like
Tell
your
me-
look in itself would already carry it over. That's what he said.
Exactly.
I remember.
So I don't know. Just get more creative. I'm not the fucking creative director, but come up with something.
All this shit is so tricky because I feel like sometimes like it's a washed conversation, but I know it's also an important conversation.
Yeah.
There's young black kids who don't give a fuck. There's people who do give a fuck. It's just a very difficult conversation. I think just purely off of the visual though, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
And I said this before. Maybe if you
feel
had
like-
4 people in the posse cut, you got 30 motherfuckers with variations of black hair. Yes, you are gonna get it. If you look like a barbershop poster, number 1 through 30 in the music video, you're gonna get roasted or called out. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I'm just being real.
I'll take that. Yeah, you're right.
I was gonna say, I also get that he wanted to showcase, Korean artists. Obviously, he said that and stuff, but I think it also would have been a difference and maybe taken a little bit more as like appreciation instead of appropriation. If there was a person of color in the video, or there was, somebody, it's kind of just like seeing that many people, with that aesthetic and not one single,
I get,
it's kind of weird.
I guarantee you he did not think about this. So imagine this, right? He sends the track out to 25 Korean rappers that he thinks are killing it right now. They all lay a verse. June 10th, come to this music video shoot. 30 rappers come, right? All these hairstyles. You're shooting the fucking video.
Right.
Yeah.
You're going to shoot the video.
That's-
It's all ready to go.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And you might not even, who knows? Maybe he finally, when they all showed up, he noticed it for the first time. Like, oh shit, look at this. There's something going on. There's a pattern here.
Yeah.
There's a pattern here.
Right.
Maybe he was worried or not. And then he shoots the video. He sees it. And I think he was even worried at that point.
Yeah.
I don't think Jay's stupid. I think he even noted that. I think he wrote something that he ran it by a publicist or something, and he still put it.
PR told him not to release it.
Right. This was before, right? It was actually released.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
PR says don't release it. So it was going through the thing. It was like Kendall Jenner and the Pepsi campaign. It made it towards the end. That shit went through a lot of execs, and they were still like, no, let's run it.
Oh my God.
At Rock Nation, right?
Yeah,
Rock Nation.
Rock Nation. But that's the interesting thing you say too, right? Actually, maybe more Asian people could have been like, maybe not run it, but there could have been black execs too who were like, maybe we should run it.
Let me tell you something. I will tell you what I believe to be true.
Yeah.
I believe black execs would look at that and think that's dope.
That's that.
Or
it's
even
something-
white or execs period.
Exactly.
Would look at that and feel like that's dope.
Because it's there's a lot of energy.
There's
there.
a lot of energy in there. It's different. It's kind of weird and different. The industry
Right.
will like it, and Tumblr, Twitter will not.
Right.
And even I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know I don't know if I care about it. But people are talking about it. We've been here talking about it for the last hour.
Right.
You know,
I think it's a very interesting topic
That is true.
because we've talked about this for so much, and of course, cultural appropriation. Sometimes it gets exhausting.
Yeah.
But this case is so interesting to me because it's a huge posse cut. I think that thing makes a huge difference. The
is it
energy
doing well in
behind
Korea?
it.
Is it doing well?
No,
in
they
Korea?
took it down.
They took it down.
Jay actually took it down, which is interesting to me, that aspect too. So that, and my friends, we've had this conversation. People are like, I don't think he should have taken it down, and this, and did that make it worse, and all those things. But it just, seeing so many of them at once makes a difference. You know, the energy of it makes a difference.
Sensory overload, dude.
Yeah,
I
and you know
will
me, I
say
just love talking about this.
I kind of appreciate it too, though, because I've had lots of convos about it too. And if one thing it's doing, it's showing that all Black people don't think alike. So I appreciate that because I've gotten into many conversations and, well, this Black person doesn't feel offended or my friend loved it and this and that. And yes, guess what? Black people think differently. We all have different, views on things. So that I actually kind of appreciate that these conversations came out of that and people are seeing that we're not this monolith that is bothered by every single thing or that we're always looking for a reason to like call people out, this and that, and that we can be accepting and it doesn't bother some people. So I appreciate that.
I think, every Korean rapper's music video shoot, they should always have like 20 to 30 fitteds ready to cover up any hairstyle at any given point. You never know what's going to go down. You never know who's going to pull up a wet hairstyle. You got to get ready to cover it. They should have just put it, it's the blurry sensor bar over their heads. What do you think? I don't know. I just something to...
That's kind of interesting, right? Like this is what I'm talking about. And this is just fucking weird. I shouldn't even say this right now. But if I were to see that video, it would have to be a commentary on the appropriation itself, right? So I would love to see all the appropriation blurred out, right? Like
that would
a
be
black
hilarious,
bar,
yo.
right? Like that'd be kind of interesting.
How hard do you think the criticism would have been if everyone's hair was just, their natural hair and it was just the same video? I'm curious.
I have to see the video. I have to see the video.
Do you think they would get this?
Oh yeah, I think the hairstyles is trigger style. I think they would have been fine.
The biggest thing. It's not the clothes or nothing like that.
I have to see it.
I mean, say they threw up gang signs, all this shit, the same thing, except the hair was just like cute. This was like great. Korean perms and Korean bangs.
I'm telling you, that fro that I saw. I mean, he teased the shit out of that.
Yo,
that's like a lot of work.
Yo, I gotta hit that the COVID test.
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, we're gonna wrap it up then. London, thanks for calling up.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Thank you. That was a good combo. I honestly think that might have been better than any think piece that's out there on this topic.
Right.
Or, any TikTok video.
That was great.
We really broke that down.
That was great.
We really broke it down. Salima Koroma, director of Bad Rap, director of Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street. Very, very excited to see what you have in store next.
Oh, thank you. I love you guys.
Queen.
Okay, so I know we were supposed to eat after this. I have to take my Mac to the store. I did not know it was going to take this long.
Okay, I know.
So can we get together? But you guys always, when I come in town, I see photos of you and fucking Decipher and Aquafina and Rex Dizzy.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're here in Philly. We're here at this fucking Korean.
Well, we thought you were really busy with different projects.
Apparently, LeBron Kim.
Yeah, apparently you weren't busy for 4 or 5 years. Should have hit you up. I didn't know you were going through a tough time. I would have loved to buy you a meal during those rough times. But we love you, Salima. We love that you created something that we can take on to the rest of our lives and look back on and be embarrassed about it. I know. No. But Salima Koroma, make sure you guys go check out Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street. Thank you guys. Tune in next week for another episode of Fun with Dumb.
Yes. Peace.